Who'd want to be a defender tonight? He's kicked an even half dozen.
They're nearly home.
Gets a good look at it and makes no mistake.
Port Adelaide on the canvas.
4 and zip. The Hawks are making noise.
Bringing it back, bringing it back. He loves it.
Gets a good look at it and makes no mistake. Lance Franklin, who wheels around, and he's kicked an even half dozen. Chance Bateman, in his 100th game, he gets the goal. Last week, the Lions rained on the Powers Parade in a classic comeback.
The knockout blow. They're down. They're dead. And this has been one of the greatest victories.
2 teams on the rise. Who will stand up tonight?
Was it the 12? Hello and welcome to a windy Gabba in Brisbane for the AFL match of the round between the top of the ladder undefeated Hawks and the home team, the Brisbane Lions. And it's not often you get to see 2 of the greatest full forwards of all time go head to head, and that's what you'll be seeing tonight. No, I'm not talking about Lance Franklin and Jonathan Brown, the 2 current greats who will go head to head tonight. I'm talking about in the commentary box, where the greatest Brisbane Lion full forward will be sitting next to the greatest of all time Hawthorn full forwards, Jason Dunstall and Alistair Lynch. Welcome to you, boys.
Thanks, Dwayne. I've always said you're a good bloke, despite what everyone else said. Now, Lynchy, we have got a great clash shaping tonight. The Hawks are on fire in 2008, but the Lions have had a great win over Collingwood and a massive come-from-behind victory over Port last week. This should be a beauty.
It should be a great game. They've played some very good football, the Brisbane Lions, and we're looking forward to this contest tonight. There's been a little bit of rain around the area, but hopefully it'll be dry for the whole game.
Well, the Brisbane Lions are coming out right behind us. It was their 2nd greatest comeback ever last week against Port Adelaide. Their greatest comeback just happened to be against the Hawks back in 1995. They are ranked #1 in the competition in tackles. They've won 4 of their last 5 against the Hawks by an average of 29 points. So plenty of reason for them to be confident, Lynch.
Yeah, plenty of reasons. You skipped across, you were captain in 95, but it was a great comeback anyway. But yeah, no, there's plenty of, they tackle well, they chase well. It's going to be a good contest through the midfield to see how they go, though, against the Hawks.
It's a power forwards at both ends of the ground. We've got Brown and Bradshaw at one end, and we've got Franklin and Roughhead at the other.
I mean, how good's this? We see probably Brown gets up the ground like Lance Franklin does, and Bradshaw's a lot closer. And how good's his comeback been from that knee reconstruction? It's been fantastic to see him back amongst the goals. Jared Roughhead, he's a very effective up the ground, but he'll stay close to the goal, top of the goal square for Hawthorn.
Yeah, a lot of talent at both ends. Who's going to get the best service out of the midfield? It's a very important battle in the middle of the ground to see who can service these type of forwards. We see a total of 29 goals from Bradshaw and Brown, 33 from Franklin and Roughhead. A greater reliance on the key forwards from Brisbane, Lynchy.
Yeah, without doubt, and that's where the midfield's got to come in and get some goals on the board. The likes of Ron Hooper, Ash McGrath have got to get some crumbing goals if the Brisbane Lions are realistically going to be a chance. It'll be a close game. It'll come down to the best crumbing forwards and the best midfield will win the game, I think.
Now, who gets the job on Franklin?
I think Joel Patfull will start there. I mean, Jared Brennan's played on him before and been all right, but I think they'll like to keep Brennan up the sleeve to go through the midfield rotation. So I think start with Patfull, and we'll see how things pan out.
And at the other end of the ground, you'd think Trent Croad, how happy would Brisbane be to have him back early from injury, given they need a power defender to play on the #1 player in the competition in Brown?
Without doubt, and he's got the athletic ability and size to go with a bloke like Jonathan Brown. It's just fantastic to get him back in the side. So I think you'll be hoping there's a bit of rain coming around, like a lot of the other defenders on the ground. But Trent Croad, quality player, been a great match-up to see that one go head-to-head all night.
Well, it's been a great start to the 2008 season by the Hawks. Can they keep it going, particularly here at the Gabba, a place that hasn't been a happy hunting ground for them? Let's hear from their coach, Alistair Clarkson.
No, we've had a bit of trouble up here, Smithy. You know, Brisbane, in some of that time, have been an outstanding side, you know, through that 01, 02, 03 period where they were just the dominant force in the competition. I don't think many sides won up here, but our form hasn't been particularly good. And but, you know, we've made some pretty bold decisions as a footy club over the last 3 or 4 years, injecting some talented youth into our club, and hopefully we're starting to see some of the benefit of those decisions. And, you know, our record in the first 4 games of the season has been pretty good, but we know that we've got a big challenge tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the two lineups, Lynchy. No late changes for the Hawks, but one late change for the Brisbane Lions. An important one. Nigel Lappin goes out of the side and Robert Copeland replaces him.
Yeah, Nigel Lappin's gone out with a leg injury, so it'll be important that Copeland holds up an end. Daniel Merritt will go with Roughhead, as we've discussed. Rioli's been fantastic in the pocket, and Williams obviously coming back into the Hawthorn side. Last week will be a hard one to match up on. Crawford, Franklin, Osborne, a great matchup. It's certainly Begley, Patfull and Corrie are going to have their work cut out there.
Mitchell back from injury to lead the Hawks tonight, comes into a midfield that's going to have a great battle on their hands. We know the Brisbane Lions midfield is chock full of stars, but nothing wrong with Bateman and Mitchell and Sewell and Hodge either in the middle of the ground.
It's outstanding. Look at Charman going against Campbell. Black on Sewell, Power on Hodge. They're going to be the matchups, but it's also the second tier that where Brisbane are going to have to step up to match the Hawthorn runners.
Ladson and Birchall have given tremendous drive across half-back all year. Hooper's a player that probably hasn't realised his potential yet. Jared Brennan, another X-factor for the Lions.
Yeah, without doubt, and they're trying to stretch, obviously, the Hawks' defence by having Leuenberger, Brennan and Bradshaw on that full forward line, so it'll be interesting to see how long they stay with that. There's plenty of run on the interchange bench for both sides, especially the Brisbane Lions and Taylor, to come off and add some support in the ruck.
Yeah, Tim Clark has come back into the side last week, kept his spot this week. He'll probably do a job on someone. There's Mark Williams and Cyril Rioli, a couple of key players for the Hawks. Is Brisbane and Hawthorn going through their final preparations here at the Gabba? We will be back with the first bounce on the other side of the break.
Troops here in Iraq say they are increasingly frustrated with America's criticism. Gets a run on him, goes down the inside, really good for Cosville.
Big Pond News, Sport and Entertainment. Too big for TV.
Now's the time to renovate. At the Reece Bathroom Sale, you'll find everything you need to create your perfect bathroom, and at prices you just can't afford to miss. Reece, your bathroom, your life. Catalogue in store.
All eyes on Adelaide and Melbourne. It's Viewers' Choice Asian Champions League. Both games live Wednesday on Fox Sports.
Sensational!
The Reds drew first blood against Binyang. Now,
we take on the champions of Vietnam at home.
And Melbourne's campaign hangs by a thread. Will Japan's Gamba Osaka strike the killer blow? The victory fight for survival.
What a game we've got now!
All the action from the AFC Champions League is right here on Fox Sports.
Live 7:30 Wednesday.
It's in the air. It's in the air. What an unbelievable finish.
I am the pride of Brisbane town.
I am Tiger Tough. I am a Purple Hay.
I am Raw Power.
I am a one-point ball game.
I'm 90,000 screaming fans.
I am the edge of your seat.
I am the best seat in the house.
Whatever footy means to you, with 4 live games every round and replays of every game, Fox Sports means the best seat in the house for AFL in 2008.
To the Gabba, two captains tonight, Sam Mitchell, and the winner of the toss, the man who's playing his 200th game tonight, Luke Power. He's a man they'll have to stop as well. Got a Brownlow vote in both games against Hawthorn last year, Luke Power, so he does enjoy playing against the Hawks. And there's Matthew Leuenberger, who had the big task last week against Lade and Brogan and performed manfully. A man who did exactly that during his 300-game career. Rowan Smith is on the boundary line.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. And the boys spoke about the big, tall power forwards of the Hawthorn Footy Club before. Also, Mark Williams coming into the team after that knee injury as well. He just adds a little bit of spark, goal-scoring power, can get up the ground, deliver the ball back into the forward 50. He's a very smart player. Also, Lukey Power playing his 200th game, which is an outstanding effort, Dwayne.
Certainly is, Rowan, and all is in readiness here at the Gabba. The umpires tonight, Luke Farmer, Ray Chamberlain and Shane McInerney, 3 of the best in the business for the match of the round. Almost a full house here at the Gabba. And the crowd here know how big this one is.
Well, there's the first surprise. They started with Merritt on Franklin, but just at the last minute, it's Jared Brennan that has gone on to Lance Franklin, and as we expected, Daniel Merritt goes over on a Jared Roughead.
Oh, I think the big surprise is Jonathan Brown's in the middle of the ground on Sam Mitchell. It'll be very interesting to see how long he starts there.
We're underway, and Leuenberger, as he left off last week, wins the opening tap. McDonald, well, he's got a touch early. Jonathan Brown and Colin Begley wide to Corrie. Another good performer last week in that comeback against Port Adelaide. Anthony Corrie back to Begley. Over the head of Notting. And Shane Crawford back of the pack. Scoops it up. Heads wide. And Trent Crowe back into the team this week. Takes the mark back pocket.
This is where the Hawks have been so good over the first month of football. Running out of their defensive half and having those effective forward 50 entries.
Gladson to Mitchell. Back to Shane Crawford. Now Birchall. Half back flank. Leuenberger dropping back loose man. So he's forced to go wide. Rioli, little fumble, takes on Begley, hands off to Sewell, inside 50 they go, tough ball for Roughead to get to, does well with the half volley, tries to shoot it out to Franklin. How will the umpire view this? Ray Chamberlain says, I'll have it.
Some room out the back, please.
Plenty of instructions there from players and umpires. We'll see Roughead against Leuenberger in the ruck here.
So Roughead, as you would expect, doing the ruck work when it's forward. Adcock caught a little high. As Ray Chamberlain just explained to you against Lance Franklin. Initially it was okay, but the tackle slipped high.
Interesting with Charman starting in the goal square. Crode's gone to him, and Gillam's actually playing it to half-back now, and Jonathan Brown.
Adcock dumped by Franklin after he kicked it. Free kick downfield. And Merritt lets Franklin know about it. Short. Simon Black.
Black was one of those players in the last quarter last week that had such a big impact on the result.
Oh, dangerous kick.
And Franklin and Roughead could have raffled that. Roughead took the mark, and Franklin's peeling back to the square now.
We'd like to take that one back. Just switching the ball over 45, 50 metres. The ball hangs in the air so much. It's got a very precise kick. Certainly can't switch the ball with that sort of distance.
Within his range, Corrie stands on the 50. Big kick this to give them early momentum, the Hawks. And he's missed a behind.
A let off for Simon Black. It's a slow movement of the football. When all your options dry up, you get forced to kick to a contest. But when you do that, it's got to be a contest in the defensive part of the ground, not a square up.
And it's either out of play or out of play on the full. It's on the full. Good tackle. Sensational tackle, Luke Hodge.
I thought he probably got across the line to be out of bounds, but the umpire was right in position, so he thought it was kicked out of bounds on the full.
Crawford descended back inside 50. Well, he might come backwards.
The Lions have got big numbers back in a defensive zone, so the Hawks probably chip around, just try to get to that 40-metre position.
Birchall to Ladson, tough one. Oh, gee, good clash with 2 11s, and Young made the contest, but Sherman took the mark. Justin Sherman play on from defence to the 200th gamer. Luke Powell, the 1-2, and Power through the middle to Hooper. Yet to go inside 50, the Lions. Chip kick Sherman. Luke Power again. Kick smothered. Simon Black dives in. Crawford tries to tunnel it out. Adcock caught, handball off. Hooper off the side of the boot. And a race on between Charman and Stephen Gillam, and we'll get a ball in. Jamie Charman back into the team this week. And there's the smother. Rick Ladson back into play. Campbell slaps it down. Gillam. Shane Crawford blind turned around himself. Brown. Guerra coming off a 38 possession game last week. Brent Guerra to Birchall to Ladson. Inboard back to Birchall. Now wide ball to Osborne, and he takes off on McDonald, who overcommitted. He is away. Open forward line. Franklin calls it to the pocket in his direction. He's got 2 to beat, and it gets bumped out of the contest. Out of play on the full. So they're dropping a man back in front of Lance Franklin at the moment, and Leuenberger is the man. Simon Black, who did start the game slowly last week against Port Adelaide, but came home powerfully and drove them to the line, the Brisbane Lions, with an 18 possession second half. Simon Black. Selwood's kick also not good, but it comes off. Patfull. Begley. Brennan takes on Roughhead. Kick away just in time, and long and perfect to Copeland. Late inclusion, Robert Copeland. If you've just joined us, Nigel Lappin is out. Copeland to Power. Possession number 4 for him. Inside 50, Mitchell cuts it off, thumps it down. Ladson getting back again. No free. Mitchell thumps it out to Clark. He's got Osborne wide. Needs to hit him with the pass. It's a bounce, and it bounces perfectly. Rioli peels off. Osborne tricked himself and got away with it. Hands off to Sewell. Now Rioli got it eventually. Centering kick. Not a lot of options there. Roughheads. The strong-handed one who takes the mark in opposition to Jared Brennan.
Well, it looks like
second shot.
It looks like Brennan and Merritt are going to play positions. Merritt's going to play fullback. Brennan's going to play centre half back. Whichever of Roughhead and Franklin is close to the goal, Merritt picks up. Whichever is further out, Brennan takes. So they've swapped a couple of times already.
So 12 goals, 8 this year. Jared Roughhead. It's been superb for the Hawks up forward, really growing as a player. And maybe he's sick of playing Robin to Lance Franklin's Batman. The opening goal.
Some good ball movement again into the 50, and Jared Roughhead's got very strong hands. It was a contested mark, legitimate contested mark. Jared Brennan had the closing speed to get a fist in, but just wasn't strong enough to break the grip of Jared Roughhead. And anything from outside 50 is a quality kick. Great conversion. Good start to the Hawks.
And he might end up winning the award for the best support act this year. Jared Roughhead with his 13th goal of the season. Hawthorn have not won here at the Gabba since round 18, 2000. It's been a long time in the waiting. Mitchell hands it off, Mr. Target, Sherman, Simon Black, Luke Power. No one back in the goal square. Now there is. Jonathan Brown, Bradshaw and Charman are all shooting back there, but it's rushed through for a behind to score for the Lions. Quick kick in. Birchall. Played on, into trouble, brought down, holding the ball. No play on advantage. Power thought about it, but certainly not.
Well, that's a shame he's played on because they had loose players in the attacking 50 on the turnover. Just need to get the ball back to Adcock quickly.
Got a mismatch. Guerra's on Brown.
Jed Adcock, a centering ball, high kick. Copeland's down there waiting for it. Had a couple to beat. No free in the back to Selwood. Copeland swings it around the body to full forward. Punches come. Birchall the crumb. Sewell down there, can rush it behind if he needs to. Campbell or Brown. Crawford. Gillum takes some time to assess the options. Mitchell, Crawford, Gillum. Well worked in the end, perfectly worked. Back to Birchall, and now they're away. Franklin calls for it. He's on the move. Got it.
That is brilliant movement of the football from the back pocket. They managed it with a chain of hand passes to get it back into the corridor, Hawthorn. That's where they'd like to attack. And good use of the footy by Birchall, who ran, carried, and then found Franklin in space.
Yeah, and I reckon the Brisbane Lions defence outsmarted themselves there. As you said, Jace, they're going to switch positions to try to hold their defensive spot. But in transition, Brennan and Big Merritt swapped, and either one was close to the goal kicker now.
And he might be on song again tonight. Lance Franklin has his first.
Well, if you wanted to say what's the best thing in terms of Hawthorn starting the match, it's Roughhead and Franklin. Getting a kick and kicking a goal early. They've both done that. It's been good use of the football further afield. They've managed to find the two key targets up forward, and that'll be great for their confidence. Now, from a Brisbane perspective, they need to do the same thing with Brown and Bradshaw.
Great start. Two power forwards for the Hawks. Got their hands on the ball.
22 goals, 11 now for the season for Lance Franklin. Still on 100-goal pace. Ray Chamberlain to restart play. Bounce favours Leuenberger, slaps it down. Mitchell spins out of one, but not the second tackle. Riscatelli sends it long towards full forward. Jonathan Brown and Bradshaw. Good grab.
Well, this is where the ploy of Charman playing forward has worked for Daniel Bradshaw, because he gets a smaller opponent. Instead of finding Gillum, he gets Campbell Brown as an opponent. You could just see he was outsized, Campbell Brown.
He might have missed 12 months from footy, but he hasn't missed 12 months from the gym.
He's huge, isn't he?
He's puffed up.
And speaking of great support acts this year, here's the other good one. They're on the board.
Bradshaw just found himself at the top of the goal square with Campbell Brown. Now, Campbell Brown's had some great big scalps over the last 12 months, but to sit under a long ball is going to be very difficult, and especially with the likes of a Daniel Bradshaw is very strong. And Jamie Charman did enough to make sure that Gillum couldn't get to the contest. So good work from the two forwards of the Brisbane Lions, and the Hawks defenders will need some assistance.
Ominous sign as well for the Hawks, because Daniel Bradshaw has kicked 5 goals plus here against Hawthorn 4 times, including 7 as an 18-year-old, and that was a long time ago. From the ball up, Mitchell dived into the Johnston tackle. Osborne, Sewell, good movement again. Franklin's on the move, it's in front of him, and he gets there again but drops it. Daniel Merritt. Jamie Charman feeding back. Power. And dumped.
Against Hodge. Is it?
Selwood was dumped by Hodge. Free kick downfield.
Wasn't very subtle, was it, Luke Hodge?
Yeah, he's been getting plenty of attention from Selwood.
Selwood's got the job to follow him wherever he goes.
And just a little frustrated was Luke Hodge for the last 20 or 30 seconds in the lead up to that free kick.
It was almost worth it, though. It didn't cost him much. It was going to that spot anyway. And they've had to switch sides. Begley, short. Corrie shrugs the tackle. Takes off. Sends it inside 50. Almost it is crowed. Umpire said it did hit the deck. Look to from here. Shoot off the handball with Jonathan Brown to Hooper through traffic. Spectacular.
Well, Lynchy, we know Ron Hooper's capable of some spectacular things, but we just don't see it often enough. They need him to find a little bit of consistency in terms of the contribution he makes, but these sort of things are unbelievable. I mean, this is just a gift. It's talent, isn't it? Pure talent.
Without doubt, and I think the most encouraging thing for the Brisbane Lions in that set of play was not just Hooper's goal, but the fact that Anthony Corrie had his hand on the ball as well. So two very quick, skillful players getting touches early.
Second goal of the season for Ron Hooper. Only 8 games last year, as we know. Lost the passion for the game over pre-season. But he's back and scores a level again. Power. Riscatelli. Lions hitting their straps now, but getting back and good mark, Stephen Gillum. Heads wide to Mitchell, who's got an open side of the field. Can have another bounce if he wants to. Doesn't. Sends it longish. Young about to swoop on it. Tucked into the boundary line. Good opportunity. Centering ball, though. Rolls along the deck. Begley dumped by Lewis. No in the back. No holding the ball yet. And it'll be a ball up. Players of both teams claim they deserve the free kick. McInerney says no. Charman tries to thump it through. Simon Black. Dangerous kick to Crawford, who...
He's in range if he really goes back and has a crack at it.
He plays 300th game later this year. Shane Crawford. The word superstar gets thrown around a bit, but he genuinely fits that tag. From 50. Not bad off the boot, but pulls it a little. Only a behind. Rowan Smith.
It's fair to say that Justin Sherman's career was at a little bit of a crossroads. Last week he did a good job on David Roden after half-time. Tonight he's got a big job on Chance Bateman, so we'll see how that one goes.
Yes, been in sensational form, Chance Bateman. Brennan takes off. Characteristic ball in one hand. Kick not so good, though. Ellis takes the mark. Started on the bench. Xavier Ellis and gets
costly.
50.
Very costly at this stage of the game to give those 50-metre penalties away.
We've seen it a bit in recent weeks. The umpires have been hot on this because what the player on the mark does is he covers the play on, he moves laterally, but if you don't come right back behind the mark, the umpire is hot on you anticipating the player with the ball playing on.
Hasn't kicked a goal this year, Xavier Ellis.
Now you're on the mark. You're on the mark now.
That's what he has in front of him. Nice kick. Perfection.
And Anthony Corrie can't worry about that too much. It is obviously a mistake, but he's looked quite lively. This is the problem. Any team coming off half-back, if you don't hit the targets, you just open your defence up. On this occasion, as we see Anthony Corrie coming around to block the centre corridor switch.
But you can see Xavier Ellis, he's a left footer. He has moved out to the left, but you're not allowed to actually go and cover that until the umpire calls play on.
Hawthorn Brains Trust. Damien Hardwick on the phone at the moment. Todd Viney. Mark Evans. Bounce to restart play. From the knockdown, didn't see Alistair Clarkson there. He is here, isn't he, Jason?
He is.
Adcock gets it off to Riscatelli. Johnston. And now Corrie. Peeling off. Mentioned how good he was last week in that comeback. 10 inside 50s from Anthony Corrie last week in that comeback victory by the Lions. This time he gives it off for Begley to send it inside 50. And Adcock.
Luke Powers had his hands on everything thus far. He's had 8 possessions already in the first quarter, and an important little one there that just set things up going forward and has resulted in the Lions having a shot for goal.
And for the Hawks, Mitchell and Crawford, 2 of their veterans, have had 7 possessions each and looking pretty good. But Luke Power uses the ball so well and often short, just that 20 or 30 metre little kick.
Good kick. Never in doubt. Straight over the goal umpire's hat.
Well, this has been just what the game needed. An enterprising start by both sides. 3 goals apiece. It's been a terrific start, very even. Both midfields getting a bit of ball, both forwards getting some good serve.
We've got a huge range of sensor lights.
So if you're coming home at night and it's pitch dark,
trying to get the key in the door,
sensor lights will light the path for you all the way to the front safely.
Security sensor light, $25.98. Abbey skylight, $97. Folding trunk trolley, $99. Outdoor bistro blinds, $88 per blind. Energy saving globe, $7.98.
It's always a good security measure to have sensor lights installed.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Everyone's preparing for their favourite Olympic event. Colt for just $14,990 with alloys and spoiler plus free on-road costs. And with Lancer, your safety's the winner with stability control across the range. An efficient 2-litre engine plus free on-road costs. Both with the Mitsubishi Diamond Advantage, Australia's best new car warranty and customer care. You'll love the whole range of Olympic deals at the Mitsubishi end of financial year event. Love that car.
Field not using him just out of the goal square, and if you can do that, he'll play a great contribution.
Lewis sends it inside 50, rough head, and got a grab on it. Magnificent use of the body.
There's half the reason he's not playing out of the goal square. There's not much space up there with rough head Franklin, and some class small finishes as well. Left footer.
Pretty flat pockets here. Will he have to run out and kick it around the corner?
I reckon he'll come around a little bit. They're reasonably flat. He's got to come out.
To give the Hawks the lead. Unless, of course, he kicks it out of bounds on the full, and he scraped it in for a behind.
With the traditional cricket grounds, the pockets are very deep, so there's not much daylight between those goalposts, especially on this ground.
Tim Notting having a rest, and Travis Johnston entrusted with the kick in. With Joel McDonald, who's held up. Everybody's been talking about Daniel Bradshaw's comeback from a knee, Rico, but Jim McDonald's comeback play in the last half of last year, but he's been sensational this year after a knee reconstruction. Stiller
there's
gets
another
the 50-metre penalty.
They're hot on it. The umpires are absolutely hot on this at the moment, have been the last few weeks.
When you run inside the protected area, there it is there.
Stiller comes wide. Joel Patfull. Luke Power getting plenty of it. Inspired in his 200th game. Patfull back to Merritt. McDonald, Franklin's coming hard. He might just go the journey here. Taps it to his own advantage. Lays the tackle on Patfull. Drags him down. Ball back alive. Merritt shoots out the handball, but the fresh chance Bateman just off the bench. Sewell back to Franklin. Oh, he runs out. He loves it like this, and he misses. On the left, had the angle to run. Behind.
Skill error from Daniel Merritt, but it was actually a decision error as well. He should have had a free player out on the flank. He should have chipped it across, allowed some run off half back, but just tried to create something by hand, put an enormous amount of pressure under on the defence, and was lucky not to cost a goal.
Well, you can't see Alistair Clark's in the box, but he is up the back in the shadows.
Well, he's calling from the mezzanine. Or is he on a couple of stools?
Yeah, he's only a small bloke,
yeah.
So, you know.
Johnston. Called to play on and thumps it long. Corrie, big fly, couldn't bring the mark down. Simon Black gives it to him, and they're away again. Long kick. Bradshaw peeling back, forced to spoil it down. Ellis waits under it, caught by Hooper, dumped. McGrath.
Leuenberger free.
He is, and he'll kick the goal, Matthew Leuenberger. Lions back in front.
That was good running from Leuenberger, who had wandered through the middle of the ground. His direct opponent was nowhere to be seen and managed to find himself sitting at the top of the goal square all by himself, and the awareness of Jed Adcock to get the hands clear and hit him on the chest. Easy goal, but good reward for good hard running, smart play by the youngster. Developing into a class ruckman, this young fella.
First goal of the season for Matthew Leuenberger. Last week was his best game of his 13-game career. Solo against Lade and Brogan when Jamie Charman pulled out late. And he was almost the unsung hero in that victory last week from the ball up. Mitchell's kick smothered. No takeaway just yet. Simon Black might get it. McDonald sold the dummy. Hands to Simon Black. Loops it back to Stiller. Comes off half-back. Nice possession, chip kick, Leuenberger working hard. The fumble, takes on Crawford and wins. Just had the leverage. Stiller, all the way back to McDonald.
He's found himself in the Dream Team squad as well, Matthew Leuenberger, at a very early age.
And he got that spot ahead of Brendan Lade as well after that performance last week. Mitchell, Franklin, he could go all the way. He's got Rioli. He made Rioli wait and stop for it. He might get it back.
Oh, clever.
Over the top to Young, who has been criticised for his goal kicking this year, but he has been in sensational form, Clinton Young. He's taken the most marks of any player in the competition. He's taken 45 of them, and they've all been uncontested.
I'll tell you who else is in great form. That's Cyril Rioli.
Oh,
he got a poor hand pass there. A hand pass in front of him, he runs in an open goal, but he had to do some work and then extricated himself to find Young.
Thank you.
In game 49, Clinton Young.
You got him, Guano.
Never missed, Guano. Good work.
Rowan Smith.
Well, boys, we all know what happened last week in the last quarter when the rain started to come down. It's just starting to spit rain here at the Gabba now.
Yeah, they've ordered it early this week. Joel Patfull. Wobbler, touched off the boot. Tough ball, and she made to look good by Selwood. Brennan.
Oh, great step.
Not quite, though. The kick untidy. Cut off by Ladson. Crawford, they can set it up again. Mark Williams calls for it to the pocket. They go to Franklin. He's got two to beat. Almost. Oh, he does beat them both.
That was...
Dwayne, you called it beautifully. He had two to beat. Mark Williams was on his own in the pocket, but he just couldn't attract the footy. This guy here draws the football to him. He pushes Merritt off, reaches up over the top of McDonald, and just pulls it in nonchalantly in the end, one hand.
It wasn't the best option, but they know the strength of this man, and that was incredible. Incredible mark against quality opposition.
Stay out, Simon.
For his second. Delightful. What a pleasure it is to be here to watch him.
Oh, someone's just clearing the throat out there. There's obviously a lot of effort going on out there, but isn't it great just to have a game where you've got stars at both ends of the ground? Bradshaw and Brown at one end, you've got Roughhead and Franklin in the action at the other. A lot of excitement about this game, and we're seeing an open, free-flowing game as well. So you'd hope it continues like this for the 4 quarters.
Well, according to folklore, his first game ever here as a kid, Lance Franklin, he was on 3-time premiership star Justin Lepich, and he sledged him. He said, "I'd rather be dead than red." What he said to Justin Lepich.
Yes,
so he's always had the confidence, and his confidence is high early tonight. McDonald tries to break through. Simon Black. Sherman shoots it wide. Push on Begley, perfect by Rioli. Crawford got the handle from Osborne. Almost went back to him, went back to Sewell. All the way back. Ellis, centre of the field. Campbell hit the deck. Crawford. Almost Guerra. He was virtually the last man as well, and it's holding the ball. Lions have men over the top.
1-on-1 Bradshaw.
Good kick.
Corey Bradshaw.
Well, that's brought about by overuse of the footy from the Hawks. They were a little bit cocky there. They had numbers. They tried to feed it through. Guerra just tried to run through a tackle and just he paid it no respect. He needed to hand pass it over the top.
Simon, can you please go out 5 minutes to take
Good pressure.
He just ignored the tackle. 2 of them.
Sam, hold there.
And then a good kick from Corey, wasn't it?
Corey involvement again, which would be very pleasing for Lee Matthews.
Daniel Bradshaw for his second. It is a breezy night here at the Gabba tonight.
Well, we were out in the ground earlier, Dwayne, and I asked Lynchy, because he's played here a hell of a lot, what's the wind doing? He said, aim for the goals and hope for the best, because it was swirling everywhere.
It was, and certainly when it was mostly going to the left of screen where Daniel Bradshaw's ball ended up.
Long kick in the Taylor direction, but outmarked by Tim Notting.
Taylor's got to be better there. He's got to at least make a contest. He's a ruckman against the utility player, and he allows Notting to mark that uncontested.
He's liked his time up forward over the last 12 months and kicked some goals. He gives the ball a fair roost.
Due to not play tonight, but Lappin a withdrawal late. Robert Copeland in for his 3rd game of the season. Hasn't kicked a goal this year. This to give the Lions back the lead. Way across the face. Big flyers go up, and there's your reply.
He redeemed himself.
He did. Good grab by Taylor. After his effort earlier, he would have known wasn't quite what was required. His kick not so good. Out of play is a win here, and it's not a win for Mitchell. Picked up by Notting. Centering kick. McGrath on the second grab.
Well, he redeemed himself and then undid it, Wayne. Big Simon Taylor. But that's a terrific mark from McGrath, because Sewell came across hard. Looked like he got a hand in there to pry the ball free, but you see the ball coming in. Sewell comes in from the side, but good enough to follow up with the second grab. Needs a straight kick here. Has fought his way back in after spending some time in the reserves.
Like Copeland hasn't kicked a goal this year. This is the best chance he's had. And he slots it. And the Lions are back in front.
And Ash McGrath has been brought back into the side to give that defensive pressure in the forward half of the ground. He's got great tackling pressure, speed, and the ability to kick goals. So he's come in to support the likes of Ryan Hooper, Anthony Corey in that sort of position. And this is a bonus to get on the end of a nice pass from Tim Notting, convert his opportunity, and the good sign for the Brisbane Lions is a number of guys kicking goals in this early stage.
Ash McGrath will play his 100th game here next week against Melbourne. Youngest and most successful of the 3 AFL-listed McGrath brothers. Corey and Toby, the others, of course. Lee Matthews on screen with redhead Justin Lepich. Mitchell, Lewis, Osborne. Wide ball, Franklin, position A.
He's using his body on body well against Merritt. He's pushing off to get free so he can then have a run and jump at the footy.
He's done it very well.
He carved Merritt up last year at the MCG when he kicked 4 goals in 27 minutes to put the game beyond Hawthorn in that victory in round 19.
There's a great camera shot of the kick ahead of him.
Merritt's got a tough task on his hands again tonight. That drift's still in play and beats everybody and bounces out.
He normally gets his big left to right swing as well and just hung out there. So he put it to where he thought it was going to come back from, but no good on that occasion. See Selwood and Hodge very close attention again.
Charman, secondary slap, but in the Franklin direction, toes it to his own advantage and out of play. Been a great first turn to watch. Lance Franklin has been an outstanding form this year and an outstanding form again tonight. 2 goals in the opening term from him. The Brisbane Lions, after that brilliant victory against Port Adelaide last week, had their confidence up at home. 5-3-33 at quarter time. They lead by 4 points to the Hawks. 4-5-29.
We've got a huge range of sensor lights.
So if you're coming home at night and it's pitch dark,
trying to get the key in the door,
sensor lights will light the path for you all the way to the front safely.
Security sensor light, $25.98. Abbey skylight, $97. Folding trunk trolley, $99. Outdoor bistro blinds, $88 per blind. Energy saving globe, $7.98.
It's always a good security measure to have sensor lights installed.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Everyone's preparing for their favourite Olympic event. Colt for just $14,990 with alloys and spoiler plus free on-road costs. And with Lancer, your safety's the winner with stability control across the range. An efficient 2-litre engine plus free on-road costs. Both with the Mitsubishi Diamond Advantage, Australia's best new car warranty and customer care. You'll love the whole range of Olympic deals at the Mitsubishi end of financial year event. Love that car.
We wish England was Australia. We did work for a son. And a nation for the body. The greatest from on earth. What a day you send us on the road. It's Australia.
Lundy rum, made by one country for one country only.
Permission to land denied.
Just joking. Come on ahead, fellas.
Introducing the new Panasonic camcorder, only at Harvey Norman. Yep, it's waterproof, dustproof, snowproof, and shockproof. And you could even say it's family-proof. All this in a compact, easy-to-use design with a 4 gig SD card included, all for just $695. Dive in for a closer look at the new action-proof Panasonic camcorder. Available now only at Harvey Norman.
Sunday AFL on Fox Sports. The Blues have finally found the winning formula, but will it work against the desperate D's? 1 o'clock live from the G. Then at 4, live and active. Last time it was a 3-point heartbreaker in the finals. Can the Eagles now exact their revenge, or will they face a power surge at Subiaco? Sunday AFL, Melbourne take on Carlton at 1, followed by West Coast Port Adelaide at 4. All live on Fox Sports 1.
Canberra, Melbourne, they sit equal on the ladder, but are worlds apart as teams.
Oh, boy!
Who will prevail when the premiers come to the capital for Bundy Monday Night Football? Live from 6, get the pre-game lowdown. Then live and exclusive at 7, can the Green Machine survive the Storm's power?
Oh, they are turning it on now.
And spoil their momentum.
The Canberra Raiders on fire.
Monday Night Football, Raiders Storm, live and exclusive from 6 on Fox Sports 2.
Monte Carlo or bust. Monday, stage 3 of the ATP Masters Series. The race continues live and exclusive on Fox Sports. Who will hit pay dirt on the French Riviera? For the first time this season, the Kings of Clay come out to play. Can Spain's young bull make history by winning his 4th consecutive title?
Tennis of the highest order.
The race continues. The ATP Masters Series live from Monte Carlo, Monday, Fox Sports 3.
people, and it's the match of the round. The undefeated Hawks, top of the ladder, up against the Brisbane Lions. Always tough to beat here at the Gabba. The Hawks haven't beaten them here since round 18, 2000, and it's the Lions that lead by 4 points, 5-3-33 to 4-5-29. Franklin on song early, 2 goals to Lance Franklin, 23 for the season so far. What have you made of the opening term, gentlemen?
Very exciting, Dwayne. 5 goals to 4, free-flowing game. A lot of the big names getting amongst it. Powell with 10 and Black with 9 for the Lions. You've got Crawford with 11, Mitchell with 9 for the Hawks. Couple of Lion matchups doing fantastic work, Lynchy. I like Selwood doing a great job on Hodge, has kept him touchless, and Sherman, following up from his great work on Roden last week, has kept Bateman to just the one hand pass.
And that is great news, not only for this game, but Sherman has been in the wilderness for 12 months after having an outstanding couple of years to start his career off, but has had to go from a more offensive job to a shutdown role, and he's been able to have the run to go with the likes of Bateman and the likes of Hodge and these sort of players and stick with them. So he's had a good job. It's a win for the Brisbane Lions. I'm sure he'd like to see out the game in a similar sort of manner.
How good's it been from your angle, Rowan Smith?
Well, thanks very much, Dwayne. Well, Lee Matthews are going to that quarter time fairly happy, I think. An area which Hawthorn dominated the season so far this year is the uncontested possessions, and Brisbane actually won that count in that first quarter, 70-63. Another statistic as well is the centre bounce clearances. Brisbane have won that 7-3, and Simon Black has had 3 of those as well. So they're going to have to get on top of that area in this second quarter.
Thanks, Rowan. These two teams met twice last year. It was round 1 here at the Gabba. Jason, you were here, where Hawthorn arguably played their worst game of the year, lost by 25 points.
It was a scratchy, low-scoring affair. The direct contrast to the sort of game that we're actually watching tonight. 9
goals to 6 it was. And Hawthorn's season just got better from there, I suppose, until their last game of the season, and that was the semi-final loss to the Roos, which was as bad as their first round.
Now, to start this second quarter, Tim Clark starting on the wing for the Hawks. Expect him to come off the line and then pick up Simon Black after the first bounce.
Lions by 4 points to start this second term, and Simon Black
again
started where he left off, heads to Bradshaw. How's those hands?
How's the hands, but also the speed off the mark. He was out of the blocks very quickly, and Campbell Brown just couldn't make up that 2 or 3 metres with a good pass. It's very difficult to have the closing speed to get to this contest, but the size of Bradshaw when he jumped early, very hard to get a fist on the ball.
Might need to make a move there. Daniel Bradshaw. Magnificent kick. And a magnificent start for the Lions.
On the back of his 5 goals from 10 shots last week, Daniel Bradshaw has started off in very nice fashion. So is this guy, Simon Black, one of the Premier Ball winners in the competition, and his delivery has been superb tonight so far. He's racked up 10 touches and looking very good on the back of a great performance last week.
Well, once again with Charman starting forward, Gillam's required to go there, which leaves Brown on Bradshaw, and that's a matchup that's working for the Brisbane Lions.
Always been a bit of a freak, Daniel Bradshaw, as a kid. He was a superstar 16-year-old wonder kid. He elected not to play in the under-18 comp, played for Wodonga, and kicked 18 goals and 16 goals in back-to-back weeks in the seniors for Wodonga, and that's where he was recruited from. Sewell, hands off. Mitchell, long kick. Off the hands of Williams, goes back in for a second bite. Rioli through traffic. Keeps the ball alive, hoping for Bateman, runs onto it, snares it, snaps it, misses. Only a behind. Having one of his best seasons, if not his best ever season, Chance Bateman this year. Almost unstoppable.
Chase, looks like his fitness has really picked up over the last 12 months as well. I mean, he seems to have that great capacity to go through the midfield, not only be a smart forward player.
Absolutely, has worked very hard at it.
Clark to Ladson, inside 50 to the sharpshooter, Mark Williams.
I tell you what, he was there for an eternity, Mark Williams. He was actually calling for the ball when Ladson first picked it up. Ladson had time to think about giving a hand pass away, sizing up his options, and still chipped it in there. You can see him looking around. He was there on his own, and no one had tracked him.
Just 4 games last year with knee problems, Mark Williams. First game for the year last week and kicked 3 goals too. Very accurate kick of the ball, as always, straight through the middle.
It was an important answer for Hawthorn because Brisbane have started the second quarter very, very well. Everything we see just points to a bit of a shootout here. It is an open game. There are plenty of midfielders running free, getting a lot of the ball and having time to deliver it going forward. And with talent at both ends, we're going to see some goals kicked tonight, provided the rain stays away.
Unique and very efficient kicking style, taught to him by his older brother Stephen. And he was a young kid. 4-step kick. On target again, Mark Williams, first of the night. Mitchell, Black steals it. Nodding. Sherman, kick half smothered, just as Rioli got to him. Put the kick off a little. Osborne hunts down McDonald, gets him. Adcock with the handball. Corrie, wide, Simon Black. Not sure how he got out to the wing that quickly, but he was there after getting the clearance from the middle. Selwood from McDonald over the top, hoping for Leuenberger to his own advantage. Shoots the handball back in the Selwood direction. Dragged down, good tackle, not rewarded. Adcock slung off and over the boundary line, and a couple of angry ants out there. One of them, the 200 gamer Luke Power. Tackle by Campbell. And the ball in. Campbell does the ruck work. Hooper threads his way through again. Another miracle perhaps. Thumped on the line and across the boundary.
Gee, looks good run, Hooper. You can see why they were so keen to get him back, concentrating on his footy, work hard, do the fitness work, and then you can have a serious impact because he is lightning at ground level.
Ball in. Charman. Push. A kick. And it's across the face and out of play on the full.
Good work under the ball in the ruck contest from Jamie Charman. Very strong. Used his hands but pushed his opponent in the side, so that was deemed to be legal.
Where to Gillum? Sorry.
Just missed the kick, but good smart thinking.
Stephen Gillum from the Beverly Hills Junior Footy Club. I'm sure they sell a few T-shirts. To Crawford.
Paul Roos club, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, here's trouble.
Back to the Beverly Hills man. Birchall, Campbell, Birchall. He bounces through the midfield. An open forward line beckoning. Sends it wide. Williams again. 55 from goal. Franklin calls short. Pokes it over the top. He's got it. Daniel Merritt has his work cut out again tonight.
Once again, there was a terrific lead up the middle of the corridor by Roughhead that got ignored, because this guy's just so magnetic. He draws the footy. He makes his teammates look at him. He's always running into their vision or across their vision. They just look up and they expect to see him there, and he's always got a break on his opponent.
This is his toughest kick, though. Left foot. Wants to run left.
He can get them to go right to left, though, in the air. Kicks across it, and then it tends to come back.
See, he does work it back. And just misses to the near side.
Daniel Merritt's obviously going to really struggle on the lead. He's so athletic, Buddy Franklin, but he's going to have to start pushing his body into Buddy Franklin to try to dictate where he takes those marks. And if he takes those marks continually on the boundary line, that is not a bad option. It's just when he gets them up the middle, it's going to really hurt the Brisbane Lions defence.
Hatful, chip kick, and Lance Franklin gets the big arm on the ball and knocks it out. And lets Justin Sherman know that he's around. Lee Matthews, of course, a former Hawthorn great, coaching against his old team. 332 games for the Hawks, arguably the best player they've ever had. Sewell. And a perfect pass to Osborne.
Gee, there's some great work at the ball in, the throw in. Roughhead did the ruck work, tapped it down, a quick hand pass found Sewell, and rather than just blazing away at goal, he looked to the fat side of the ground. The hand pass from Williams in tight, so you've got Roughhead winning the ruck to Williams, who got the hand pass in and under and then gets it out over the top to Sewell. Don't expect to see them getting a clearance.
Just correct myself there. He's not arguably the best player the Hawks have ever had, Lee Matthews. He is.
He is. Don't worry
best
about
player
that.
the Hawks have ever had. Michael Osborne kicks the goal.
I think where arguably comes in is arguably the greatest player the game's ever seen. Certainly a street in front of anyone at Hawthorn. But look, he's got his team up and running, but also the Hawks have been in great form in 2008. They're continuing that. 6 goals apiece. Hawthorn a little bit wasteful in front of goal, but it's just an absorbing contest. No one really has the momentum at this stage. It's both teams answering, still feeling each other out.
Michael Osborne, local boy from Labrador on the Gold Coast.
Luke Hodge still without a touch. He's in the middle of the ground, as is Jonathan Brown. And Brown just has the 3 hand passes.
He's gone into the midfield, Jonathan Brown, so expect to get himself into the contest.
And here he is into the contest and gets a free for his trouble. Jonathan Brown's first kick of the night. And it's a bomb, long, Charman, hard, and gives the free kick away.
And Charman's got that one.
In fact, he's getting the free, crunched the pack, but the umpire said he got a push.
Jonathan Brown knows what it's like for a forward. Just got the ball in long and quick. Yeah. We just see a little nudge from Trent Crode, I think it was. The right arm into the back of Jamie Charman.
Yeah, good decision by the umpire, but there's some good courage from Gillum. He was going back with the flight, and if Charman had have run into him, he would have knocked him over the grandstand.
Well, I think Trent Crode was actually trying to protect the life of his teammate. So he just tried to push Charman out of the road, gave away a free kick.
He's 80% from set shots. He's kicked 24 goals, 6 in the last couple of years. Make that 25 goals, 6. Impeccable.
He's a very useful marking forward, Jamie Charman. Obviously, his best role is in the midfield as a big ruckman. Very enthusiastic, got a number of efforts, not just a one-dimensional player, but he's very strong in the body and can take good contested marks. This one, just through presence, and Trent Crode, just a bit of a mistake getting that shove in the back. He drew the free kick, good conversion, but he's an effective forward. Don't worry about that.
First goal for Jamie Charman, getting the free for what has been talked about a bit, the tunnelling, where the player is just pushed as he leaps. Now, he didn't fall on his back, but it's that little nudge as you leap that the AFL are very wary of at the moment. Bounce to restart it. Leuenberger high, but didn't win the knockdown. Hodge, takeaway, Rioli, and now Lewis paddles to his own advantage, met by Stiller, but he's tough and gets a free.
Against Brown, just came in late, a bit reckless into the back.
A couple of Geelong Falcon boys, a couple of Warrnambool boys, Brown and Lewis.
And Hodge had gone to Brown in a shutdown role.
Wide kick, Franklin got a hand on it. Chance Bateman, centering ball, and Mitchell. Is that 50 against Jonathan Brown?
I think it might be.
Not having a big night, Jonathan Brown.
Or a report.
A report.
He has reported him.
Well, one of the favourites for the Brownlow medal, Jonathan Brown, looks as if he might have had his number taken for a late bump on Sam Mitchell.
Well, it's one thing, you want to go in and remonstrate, so you're sticking up for your captain and your player that's been cleaned up, but you also don't want to give a reversal free kick because you've been gifted a goal here.
And that was a little late. It was 50 metre was there, but
don't know about a report.
No, I don't think the report was there.
Kicks the goal, and the Hawks are back in front.
As we
goal umpire waiting for the all clear.
We'll do it again. And the Hawks are back in front.
Well, look, from a technical perspective, the umpires will report around, but you wouldn't like to see a player miss a week for something like that. It's getting there a little bit late. It's saying, yeah, I'm late, but I'm going to let you know that I'm actually here and you're not going to get a cheap one. So you got the 50-metre free kick, you kick a goal. Surely you don't rub a bloke out for that. You wouldn't like to see any player miss for that, let alone a Jonathan Brown.
I wouldn't think he's going to miss for that, but it's just how he handles that. Obviously, he'll be disappointed to have his name in the book. He's just got to forget about it and move on.
So Jonathan Brown reported. His record has a stain or two.
It's been good of late, though. He's been very controlled. His attack's been at the ball for a number of years now.
But it's unanimous in the box that he won't go for that, gentlemen. Is that correct?
I hope so.
Not. Yeah. So that's the good news for Jonathan Brown fans. Free kick from the ball up. Great game, 49-45. Chance Bateman. Couple of options wide. Mark Williams. Good fist. Joel Patfull.
First kick.
Yeah, just got the arm underneath the armpit of Taylor and took him off balance.
7-7. Plays 7-3. Back into play, Leuenberger, but down to Franklin. Oh, worst possible option with the don't argue. And it was a big don't argue too. Sewell dumped behind play. This time by Brennan. Play continues. Mitchell, short. Williams, second grab within range on the 50.
Take his best kick.
Yeah, he's looking to give it off. He's not overly confident, but there is about 25, 26 players in that forward 50. Very hard to hit a target.
Pre-knee problem might have been a little easier. It has missed so many games with that knee injury. He's been told he's got 20 seconds gone. 10 more to spend. Spends them wisely. And he has kicked it behind. So let off for the Lions. Simon Black having a rest. Selwood. Johnston. Couple of options wide, nothing in the corridor. He's trying to thread the eye of a needle. Sewell gets back, makes the contest, knocks it down to Adcock. They tie him up. We'll get a ball up.
Very risky, reasonably short kick to a contest into the centre corridor.
Must be the team rule though, is it? Team rule to bring it in?
Well, they like to get it in. Lee doesn't like going short to a contest, that's for sure though.
And the ball up, free kick, and it'll go Riscatelli's way against Lewis. Travis Johnston.
It's one thing that Travis Johnston does do at times. He can do some incredible things with the booty, but sometimes he just tries to push the envelope and picks too difficult an option.
And that again, that pass astray, and it has been talked about a reasonable amount, the delivery of Travis Johnston.
Just a little stab at it there off 1 or 2 steps. Didn't kick through the ball.
Had 42 possessions in one game against Richmond last year, but turned it over 7 times, and almost need to take those possessions off the player. Young, chip kick, good hands, Williams.
This time he's in range.
Good hands and very good leap.
Yep.
Jumped early, protected the ball with his body. Still not real confident on the distance.
Chastised by Lance Franklin too for not giving it off quickly.
Well, he's a metre or 2 closer than the last kick, and he actually made the journey with the last one, but just straining for extra distance, lost a little bit of accuracy.
Get Buddy Franklin off the back of the line for the big jump on the goal line if it doesn't make it.
Gee, that's nice off the boot. If it's got the carry, touched by Brennan.
Great leap by Jared Brennan. No one there really shepherding the ball through, though. He does possess a fantastic spring, Jared Brennan.
Yeah, just no body on him. He had a clear jump at that.
Had a couple of good games recently against Hawthorn as well, Jared Brennan. He took Zach Dawson to the cleaners here in 1 quarter of classic Brennan 2 years ago, and did get a Brownlow vote against the Hawks here last year. Jamie Charman takes the mark at half-back. So Brennan has got up and down form against most teams, but it's up and up against Hawthorn.
Robbie Campbell rotating on Jonathan Brown when Trent Crowe needs a spell. He goes off and has a breather on the bench, and Robbie Campbell, one of the ruckmen who's quite adept at playing key position, comes back and does the job on Jonathan Brown.
Back into play. Dumped down to Hooper. Tackled quickly. Dropped. Not only him, but the ball. We'll get a ball up.
It's a great sign for the Brisbane Lions, the fact that there's only a kick in it and Jonathan Brown's had no influence on the contest as yet. That's a terrific sign for them.
He got a touch, but he gave it away. And we'll get another ball up, no prior opportunity. And he had mixed form against the Hawks last year too. Kicked 6 goals in a loss and kicked 1 goal in a win. It might be a 1 goal and a win kind of night for him tonight. Another ball up. 6 goals, of course, was in that round 19 game at the MCG that the Hawks won by 24 points. And the 1 goal here at the Gabba in round 1, where the Lions beat the Hawks by 25. Again, the umpire forced to sort it out. Still Simon Black on the bench.
Just having a spell. He covers an enormous amount of territory during a game. Simon Black, as do a lot of the premier midfielders.
Adcock dumped as he tried to get the kick away. Riscatelli high, full forward. Leuenberger's down there. Bradshaw, Jonathan Brown, all waiting. McGrath now Underground handball to Hooper, as if he likes it better at his feet. McGrath tries to make amends, dumped. Hands off to Selwood. Kick smothered, well played. Colm Begley up forward. Rarely has a shot at goal. Oh, he'll celebrate that.
What was brilliant about that was just Brisbane's ability to keep the ball alive. When there was traffic, there were tackles being laid left, right and centre. McGrath was in there at one stage. He tried to dodge about 4 players. The ball looked like it was going to be cleared or there'd be a ball up, but you see McGrath pull it out. A couple of players kept it alive, and then Begley swing on the left. That's a beauty.
The little Irishman hasn't kicked too many goals in his AFL career. Be very happy with that one.
First goal of the year for Colm Begley. Lions with the luxury of having him play in the seniors off the rookie list. He's their nominated rookie. They get that list concession. And the ball up. Taylor thumped it down to Lewis. Mitchell back to Lewis. Hands it over the top. Rioli sprints onto it. Tries to shrug the tackle. Hands it back. Lewis. Handball smothered. Magnificent game this. The pressure intense. Adcock. Back to Brennan. They can soak it up. A little bit of that pressure. And they can reload. Takes off. Sends it wide. Johnston. Roughhead got their front spot. Forced to spoil. Hodge. And now Roughhead. Hodge. The 1-2-3. Back inside 50. Big fly Franklin. Williams stays down. Rioli runs in. We're going to drown in honey tonight. This is spectacular.
He's a class act for a player just playing his 5th game, I think it is.
Yep.
He's had 2 interactions in that bit of play. There was a tackle and a handball early, and then just perfect crumbing goal from a very smart forward. Got a little glare from his teammate. May have given it off, but if you run into open goal, keep hold of the ball, don't overpossess it, kick the goal yourself. He deserves it. He's a class act.
First goal for Cyril Rioli tonight. Top team in the competition. Top on percentage. Hawthorn against arguably the best team of the last 7 or 8 years. The Brisbane Lions, and it's hot. Power. Sends it wide. Sherman loops it over the top. Copeland, the 1-2 to Sherman, 45 metres out. He misses.
Just need to convert those opportunities, and as we said, he's had a bit of a drought for 12 months, looking good the last couple of games, but in his very best form, he'd snavel those.
Phyllis to Guerra. Guerra short. Jordan Lewis. He's missed 3 of the first 4 games this year through 2 separate suspensions. Jordan Lewis, good to see him back. Young finds Bateman. Too far out to score. Low trajectory pass, impossible pass. Williams, Rioli, he made it okay. Although the handball misses Bateman on the return. We'll get a ball in.
Just tried to hit that one a foot off the ground. Just acknowledges his teammate. Sorry about that one, mate. But it was good work to get into position, Chance Bateman. Good hard running to find space.
Charman beats Campbell, knocks it down. Begley, caught, dumped. Ball rolled out. And umpire Ray Chamberlain will ball it up. Ticking the time on now. Second term. Well knocked down and magnificent tie-up tackle. And we've seen so many of those tonight. Player no prior opportunity. This time Shane Crawford gets to his feet.
There's not much time and space around these contests at the moment. One-on-one matchups right over the field.
Charman and Campbell. Simon Black back on a possession. Colm Begley slaps it on, but to Ladson. Wobbles it back inside 50. Franklin, one grab. Oh, he would have got the second, but it was stolen by Osborne. Rolls in, gives to Young, and he slides it home.
Well, I'll tell you what will make Clinton Young very happy there is if there's a criticism of his game, it's his right boot. He doesn't use it that often. He's a beautiful long kick on the left. I think Osborne may have stolen the mark away from Franklin, but that is a beauty by Clinton Young on the right boot. You won't see it too often. He'll be very pleased with that one. He's been good this year as well, Michael Osborne. It's been his best season by far. Started the season in great form. not just defensive pressure. He's kicking goals, he's setting up goals.
First goal of the night for Clinton Young, third of the season. Lead out to 11 points. 23 minutes gone, second term. Your long term with all the goals that we've had. All the highlights. Crawford in and under again. Ball up again.
Certainly tightened up over the last 10 minutes of these contests. There's plenty of players around the ball. No one's getting any space whatsoever.
Both ruckmen tie up, and in the end can't get near it. Riscatelli threw it out. Lewis stole it. Simon Black the tackle. Stiller, Corrie, wide, Patfull. Bradshaw's on the move. It's all about the kick. It's in front of him. Little push by Campbell Brown. Nudge to the back. No free. Crow can take it out with some assistance from Leuenberger. Ball in.
Well, that was a little bit more subtle, that one from Campbell Brown. All he did was just gently lean onto Daniel Bradshaw and just use his forward momentum to take him under the footy.
A little bit more subtle. Just a little.
From the ball in, Shane Crawford dragged down, holding the ball. Daniel Bradshaw will line up again.
It's fantastic. You like to see any forward, especially the bigger blokes, run and chase and lay tackles, and that is a very good tackle. Daniel Bradshaw just has a little word to Shane Crawford on the way up.
Hope he doesn't miss the goal, because you can bet Crawford will come and have a word back if he does.
Mentioned he's kicked 5 goals plus here against Hawthorn 4 times. This is for number 3 for the night. He is on course. The Lions hit back.
And he's such a strength to have the likes of Bradshaw, Charman, even Leuenberger is spending time forward just to take the pressure off Jonathan Brown, who's not getting his hands on the ball that much and spending a bit of time through the midfield. Great to have Bradshaw kicking goals. Once again, Brown's gone into the midfield with Black, Power and Charman.
Two goals for the term, 3 goals for the night so far. Daniel Bradshaw, Campbell Brown, his man, in a good battle. 58-63, and away we go again. Mitchell from the ball up, tried to trap it. Charman does, gives to Power, kick smothered, and still inside the centre circle. Umpire will ball it up again.
Have a look at that, couple of players standing on their heads. Desperation from players from both sides to get to the contest, get the clearance.
And it is hard on that cricket pitch as well.
Very firm in the middle.
And that's why the umpire gets that elevation with the ball up. Campbell knocked it down, but Power steals. Jonathan Brown starting to get his way into the game now. Hits Bradshaw with the perfect pass.
How good is that on the left boot to be able to drill a ball like that never travelled more than, 2 metres off the ground?
I was just thinking that Luke Power's running next to him. Might have been the handball to him who could run onto his left foot, but Jonathan Brown obviously very confident that he could hit the target. Luke Power wanted the ball, but that's a great hit, as you called, Jace.
When you haven't had a big night kick-wise, it's nice to get one and hit the target, and Bradshaw hasn't hit the target here. Swinging. We've mentioned a couple of times tonight, the holes aren't quite as big tonight with that breeze blowing out there. Hard to judge. Luke Power in game 200 having a rest.
He certainly overkicked that one. He tried to really tee it up and thus dragged it left, but he kicked the ball over the fence. He didn't need to get that extra distance that he was looking for.
Xavier Ellis. It's the quarter play on. No one to go to by foot. Jordan Lewis by hand. Heads to the wing. Brennan floats across. Nice hands. Should I say hand? Heads wide to Copeland. Nice foot. Copeland just inside the line. 63-59. Been a seesawing game. The Lions hoping to take the lead in the shadows of half-time. High bomb. Brown's down there. Bradshaw waiting back of the pack. Left it behind. So did Simon Black. Ball in. Danger zone, though.
Campbell Brown just left his direct opponent, then Daniel Bradshaw, to go up and support in the spoil on Jonathan Brown, so that was good work.
Leuenberger and Taylor. Taylor with the palm down. Shane Crawford shoots it off quickly this time, doesn't want to get caught, and Hodge takes it through for a behind. Quick play on. Mitchell. Captain with the handball over the top to the old captain, Shane Crawford. Handball back again from Osborne to Crawford. And well played by Clinton Young. Read that nicely. No free men to go to ahead of him. Pokes it, hoping for and finding Rioli, who almost grabbed it and then couldn't quite keep it in. We'll get a ball in. 63 plays 60. This will be a 31-plus term. Minutes-wise, Leuenberger slaps it down. Johnston caught by Sewell. Ridden into the ground. Taylor to Trent Crowe. Hacks it high inside 50. Roughhead made the ground, dropped the mark. Ball comes out in the Franklin direction. Roughhead caught by Stiller. Dragged down. Still over it. Out to Osborne. He's caught, can't get it out. Finally Stiller extracts it, but he can't find a teammate with it. Hot in the kitchen at the moment. We'll get a ball up.
He did all the hard work, Jared Roughhead, to get away from his opponent and get clear, and just spilt a very easy chest mark in the end. I'd like to have that one again.
Big thump out of the area, but Travis Johnston was waiting for it.
Oh, they're on here.
McDonald can go over the top. Mitchell should shut down and does shut down Charman. Wants to play on. He didn't know Lewis was there. Hooper might get a free for a slap to the ear. Didn't get it. Bateman, Guerra, Ladson. Now the Hawks have men on. Franklin could go the whole way here from 52. Set sail. Unbelievable. Pure gold.
He just exploded when he got the ball in. It's frightening to watch at times, isn't it? He is a very, very rare talent, Lance Franklin. Some good work through the middle again, through the corridor, a chain of hand passes. Franklin had pushed up into space, and he's kicked that from inside the square.
He's kicked that. It was a monster goal, but it was the explosion before, though. Jamie Charman, the centre wing, just tried to do something a little bit fancy with the look-away handball, the handball over the shoulder, and just missed his target, opened up the goal face. Goal.
Never kicked a big bag here at the Gabba. He's kicked 3 and 3 the last 2 times he's been here, last year and the year before. He's now got 3. He's got 24 for the season. And the Hawks have a 9-point lead in the shadows of half-time. Played by Hodge. Clark, Lewis, Ellis.
Good kick.
And a good kick too, because Taylor was just lurking on 50. Didn't want to back himself in initially and then realised he had to go.
Why do
he got caught holding the ball?
Why do ruckman try to do things like that? We saw Jamie Charman out this side go for something a little bit out of his repertoire.
Should have just kicked it.
Yep.
Just stick to the basics, get it long.
And then had an air swing with the hand pass.
Lance Franklin's got his second opponent. Jared Brennan has that matchup now.
Riscatelli wide to Johnston. He said good kick too when it went in his direction, and in the air he looked around to see if anybody else from the Hawks was going to take the mark and realised it was his. The Hawks get away with it here. Ladson, Shane Crawford, they'll reload. Sam Mitchell. That's not good. McGrath, he gathers, caught by Crawford, dragged down. No free for holding the ball or pushing the back. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Ball tied up in there. Umpire will ball it up.
It was a panicky hand pass from Mitchell under pressure. He just went back over the shoulder, didn't realise that there were Brisbane players there.
9 points the lead. Jarman thumps it down. Sewell traps it, handball smothered. Notting, caught. Put the handball out in the Hodge direction. He couldn't gather it. Tough, tight footy. Mark Williams in defence. No one to go to. Says, where do I go? And they say backwards. De Guerra.
It was a clever kick, though, just to relieve the pressure.
And now Bateman peels off.
Got to punch it on.
And he does. Well played by Sherman. Found the boundary line with it.
That was a perfect spoil as the Brisbane Lions were outnumbered 3-1. Had to get the ball over the boundary line. And speaking of the boundary line, Rowan Smith.
Well, Lynchy, you just mentioned that Brennan had to go back onto Franklin. Daniel Merritt has come to the boundary line. He's been getting work on his hamstrings for the last 5 minutes. So chasing Franklin in this first half's obviously done a little bit of damage to him.
Riscatelli, Travis Johnston. Ryan Hooper still arguing should have got a free. Taylor, Ladson, Sewell, Mitchell.
Oh, boy.
Terrible handball again. 2 in a row from Mitchell. Stiller dragged down. Umpires haven't been paying a lot of frees. We'll get a ball up. Well, it's Daniel Merritt.
Brisbane have done some good things in terms of pressure around the contest. When Mitchell's panicking with the hand pass and trying to force the issue, that means the pressure around the contest is very good, and that's a big plus for Brisbane.
And the ball up. Riscatelli kicks to full forward. Fist from Brown, back of the pack. Rolls through for a behind. So Daniel Merritt on the bench. He was the least bench player in the competition last year. Came to the bench just 3 times. That's how faithful he was as a fullback last year. And he's spending some time there tonight. Franklin is his nemesis again. Seconds ticking away. Guerra just needs to make sure there's no turnover. Half time at the Gabba. Everyone needs a breath. A 19-goal opening half from 2 of the best teams in the competition. The match of the round here at the Gabba in Brisbane has lived up to all expectations. Lee Matthews against his old team with a big task, but a very, very good record against the Hawks here in Brisbane. Half time, and it's the Hawks 10-9, 69 to the Brisbane Lions 9-7. 10-goal opening half, and it's the Hawks by 8 points at half time. Luke Power, whose family have flown up for the game, obviously not his brother that's playing for the Roos today, Sam, but his father Kevin's up here with mother Michelle and his fiancée Anita obviously here at the ground watching, and other brother Ben, we understand, here watching game number 200 for Luke Power, and he's had it 14 times, so it's having a good evening at the office. Shane Crawford leads the possession getters on the field with 18.
And we spoke about Justin Sherman doing a great job on Chance Bateman in the first half. Sherman has now been switched on to that man, Dwayne, Shane Crawford.
And Selwood very tight on Hodge again, where he was at the start of the game.
We're underway in the second half here at the Gabba, and spectacularly Hodge to Guerra. Birchall, Sewell. Held up. Does well to get around Black. Back to Birchall. Franklin in a one-on-one. Uses his hands beautifully.
He's doing that so well. Just gets clear of his opponent. Got the Patfull match-up now.
They've all had a crack.
They've all certainly had a crack. I thought Patfull might have been the option early and Merritt to stay back on Roughhead, but there's big rotations. Brennan's had a crack. Merritt's struggling with hamstring. Now Patfull. If you're going to let him take a mark, this is the spot.
Tough kick for the left footer, unless you're a genius. Oh. Unless you are a genius. He has 4 for the night.
He just makes you laugh at times, Nancy, because you just wonder how you can thread it through from there. When he runs left of the left-hand goalpost, he's got a needle-eye opening, and he somehow manages to caress the ball back through a needle-eye opening. And he felt so confident. He was working Patfull off the ball. As soon as the ball was in the area, he had 3 goes at him, just pushed him away, reached up and took the mark.
Maybe it's best to just not let him take a mark at all. And that is a great conversion from that distance, but on the boundary line, fantastic.
His best ever. He was 5 goals against the Brisbane Lions at the MCG round 19 last year. He now has 4.
It's all about the supply, and looks like it's going to be very hard to stop him tonight if the supply is reasonable.
Biggest lead of the game to either side. 14 points the lead now for the Hawks. Jonathan Brown needs to get into the game and can't collect it here. High tackle.
Just can't get into the game, Jonathan Brown. Just a bit fumbly, which is very unusual for him, and gave a free kick away. He'll keep working hard, and might be the last 10 minutes, but he will have an impact, I'm sure.
Long left foot from Hodge, and just finds Mark Williams.
He's been good. As you mentioned, Jay's pushing up the field much more than we're accustomed.
Well, he's such a good athlete, Lynchy. He's got speed and he's got agility.
Notting with the fist over Birchall, tries to keep it alive, and does. McDonald peels off for him. He ignores it, goes to Jonathan Brown. That'll lift his confidence. Back to McDonald. Can size them up from 55 to Bradshaw. Franklin at one end. Bradshaw at the other.
Well, it all started with a turnover on the wing, and then they had them off the bit all the way chasing. The Lions had the Hawks out of position. First it was Brown on the lead, who got clear of Campbell Brown. And then McDonald's just chipping it to Bradshaw, who had Gillum in hot pursuit but couldn't get there. And that was all from the turnover up on the wing when Williams missed Birchall.
For number 4 for Daniel Bradshaw. That's what he has ahead of him. And just a standard excellence from Daniel Bradshaw.
Good to see Jonathan Brown just got his hand on the ball, gave off a nice little handball, but Daniel Bradshaw worked extremely hard up the ground to get back to the top of the goal square, and it was a hard, solid lead to the top of the goal square. Probably in the end got a little bit stitched up on the angle that he was brought around on, but good conversion from there, and he's been very efficient. Just the 6 kicks, 6 marks, and that is 4 goals too.
(4-2) for Daniel Bradshaw. Lead cut back to 8 points.
A lot of people built it up as a shootout. Brown against Franklin. It's Bradshaw against Franklin at the moment. They've got 4 apiece.
Campbell in the ruck against Charman. Side by side, Charman, but down to Mitchell with the takeaway. Rolls it to Roughhead. Fumble. A second fumble. Simon Black. Power. Stiller. Sherman. Colin Begley.
Charman's pushed forward if they can find him.
Long kick. And there he is. They found him to Hooper. Charman's handball releases Hooper, who finds McGrath. Magnificent movement.
Gee, they're exciting in open play, Brisbane. They hit their targets well. They've got some fast players. They just need to break it open a little bit more often. Again, a quick rebound from half-back when they got the turnover and run. Hooper's injected himself a number of times tonight, and every time it's contributed. It's looked dangerous. It's either resulted in a goal or an assist.
Already got one. Ashley McGrath. He'll run to the right and drills it. The Brisbane Lions are back.
The ability of the Lions to hit targets off half-back and through the midfield is something that has probably been missing and has been too much weighing on the shoulders of Bradshaw and Brown in recent weeks. But Hooper, Corrie, McGrath, Sherman, there's a number of players getting their hand on the ball that haven't seen a lot of it in recent weeks, but very exciting, managing to capitalise on their hard work of the likes of Black and Power in the midfield.
Second goal for Ashley McGrath. And he can rack them up. And he's second to the Lions goal kicking a couple of years ago, back in 2005. 73-75. Lead cut back to 2 points. Ball up. Hadcock tried to get it out, couldn't decisively. Diving in McDonald. Told to knock it out. Mitchell ties it up and doesn't give the free away. Ball up. It's been spectacular from the opening this game. And it's 11 goals apiece. And we're 5 minutes in third term. Sewell extracts it and sends it long. Franklin direction. This time is a free kick against him. Yep. It'll go to Joel Patfull for a jumper grab.
Did well, Patfull. Held Franklin under the ball, and Franklin had to push back and pull the jumper of Patfull. Got the free kick. Good decision by the umpire. The great thing about this contest, Dwayne, as close it is and as great as it's been, you've got no idea who's going to win it at this stage. It has just been an even arm wrestle from go to way thus far.
Simon Black, 14 possession first half for him. Turns it over almost. Hadcock made it okay. McDonald.
Oh,
he
look
sent
at this.
it long.
All by himself, Copeland.
He can run in. Thought of giving it off instead. Sherman. Oh, the 1-2. They're waxing. Open goal. Runs in. Nails it. No. A behind. It's a 1-point ball game.
Gee, they've exploited Hawthorn's defensive zone a number of times by finding loose players back at half forward.
See, couldn't do that if you tried.
Probably
take
too
away
much
Hawks.
From Copeland to share the ball there. Should have probably had a ping first up himself.
Bateman to Franklin, push on Patfull.
The last 2 contests, it's all been about positioning for Joel Patfull. He's found himself in the right position, once behind and once in front. Brilliant defensive play.
He's a fairly strong player. His nickname's Porky, even though he doesn't look big, but he's reasonably strong. Begley back to Simon Black. Held up. Just pops it wide.
Not much movement forward of the ball. Just a pack of players. He's going to just have to go long.
Draycock does that. And Notting can't take the mark. Out of play. Jordan Lewis on screen. Been a disciplined night for Jordan Lewis. He doesn't want to get his name in the book again. Sherman dumped. Ladson over the top of him. Tries to hold it in, then tries to call for a free. And the umpire will ball it up. Umpire Shane McInerney. Lee Matthews, Justin Lepich, Adrian Fletcher on the extreme left. Paul Hudson in the second row. From the ball up, Hodge. Almost through Corrie, hands it to Sewell. He can go the journey here from 48. Pokes it to Franklin. One hand on it. Could have left it, could have marked it. Didn't either.
Decision time for Lance Franklin there. Does he try to take the mark? Well, coming from the angle, was it going to go through? Here's a bad kick from Daniel Merritt out on the full.
I reckon, Jace, if it's there to be grabbed, because you probably haven't got the awareness of where the goals where the goals are, it's probably best to have a shot.
Rioli took a step.
Don't tell me.
In your dreams, Cyril Rioli. In your dreams.
He backed himself into a corner, Lynchy. He took a couple of steps sideways thinking about an option. The umpire called play on, forced him into just an instinctive snap over the shoulder. Here's the kick out from Daniel Merritt, and he just misses the target a little bit off the instep, misses McDonald, but he gets called to play on, and just off a couple of steps, the instinctive over the shoulder snap. What a beauty.
He's been the best rookie this year by a mile, yet hasn't been given a NAB Rising Star nomination yet this season, if you can believe that. Surely it's only a matter of time, because he is the favourite to win the actual award, and you can't win it without being nominated. From the ball up, Brendan couldn't break free with it, and once again the umpire will sort it out. Hodge and Black side by side as the ball is tossed in the air. Crawford got a little handball out, but no one going anywhere.
Still a massive numbers from both teams around the board. You'd think this is a perfect situation for a third up jumper just to clear the congestion.
And Lewis tries to be the third up jumper. Sewell took it out of the air. Mitchell, bouncing ball for Mark Williams. Thumps the kick wide. Patfull and Buddy Franklin got rid of him, looked around, said I'll go the way myself, and misses. Just scrapes through for a behind.
He did a bit in the air, that one.
Some strapping on Selwood.
They need him back out there because he's been terrific tonight.
McDonald entrusted with the kick in after Merritt was sacked following his last one, and Stiller.
Hodge would be wrapped that Selwood's off for a couple of minutes.
Corrie thumps it on. Nice deflection towards Power. Caught a little high. Umpire said no. Franklin, he's already had a sighter from here. Gives the don't argue. Disciplined centering kick to Sewell. Hands it off. Mitchell about to get run down. Gets the kick away in time in the Rioli direction. Bouncing ball. Eludes and then is gathered. Crawford taken out by Sherman. Will get a ball in. Crowd enjoyed that. Shane Crawford mentioned 300th game later this year. He was picked 13 back in the 1991 draft, and he's the last player left from that draft. Shane Crawford, Birchall, Ladson, Crode, and now the kick towards Osborne. He'll have to fly. Can't take the mark. Stiller and Hodge back of the pack. Stiller shoots it up to Corrie. Eludes a couple. Hodge comes at him now. Kick finds Power.
Clever play under pressure there from Corrie. Real good to maintain possession and hit a target.
He was flying a few years ago, and then he had his jaw broken in a game here. Wrecked his confidence. He's had a knee injury since, but Really started to grow again now. Anthony Corrie. Black finds Copeland. Hands off to Notting. Thumps it in the Bradshaw direction. Bradshaw back of the pack. Should stroll in here if it sits. It sits. He strolls. And Bradshaw has 5.
Another big night out for Daniel Bradshaw, and that was good long ball in and just over the back of the pack, but Daniel Bradshaw had the good recovery. Once again, another great sign that his knees absolutely no problems whatsoever. Just ability to turn around and go back a little bit quicker than his opponents there in Campbell Brown. That's a good goal. Only had the 7 touches, 7 kicks, 5 marks, 5 goals too. Very effective work.
5 goals for Daniel Bradshaw, 21 for the season now. Rowan Smith.
Just an update, Dwayne. Troy Selwood's got a cork left thigh. He's just had a little bit of a stint on the bike to keep it nice and loose, and he should be coming back on soon.
Troy Selwood in game number 50 for him. Been lost a little, the milestone in the fanfare of Luke Power's 200th tonight. Leuenberger. The takeaway, Jonathan Brown kept his feet. Dishes off McGrath. Now Sherman needs to collect it. Good pressure from Ellis. Rides him a little. Young, Taylor. Young on his hands and knees, lost it. Sherman shoots it to Travis Johnston. He might waltz in, and Travis Johnston nails his 2nd for the Lions. 1st of the night.
The tackling pressure of the Brisbane Lions has been fantastic. I mean, they've a number of times against a team that's been very good off half-back throughout the first month of football, been able to chase, tackle, get multiple shots on goal or multiple chances to get a shot on goal. Travis Johnson was on the end of some very fine work on that occasion, but all 8 players that are rotating through that forward half have been very good with their pressure and their tackling.
Brisbane Lions gave away Cam Wood to get him. It's his 1st of the night and gives the Brisbane Lions a 3-point lead after the Hawks, led by the biggest margin of the game so far, 14. Brennan, they're alive and kicking at the moment. Corrie sends it long. Jonathan Brown flies, can't mark it. McGrath caught, slung, 360.
But the positive again was that McGrath was in the right spot. He held on the ball, he didn't have an option, and quite rightly gave the free kick away, but he was in the right spot. The defensive spoil went straight to him. He had an opportunity, just wasn't able to capitalise on that occasion.
Oh, Birchall to Campbell, Brown to Gillum.
Just looked flustered coming out of the back half, which is unusual for the Hawks.
Ellis back to Birchall. Young and Bateman, they'll hit. Well done, Bateman, called Young in. Now the long bomb. Franklin and Roughhead both down there. Roughhead! Massive fly. Franklin, what about the swoop? Misses.
Gee, that leap from Roughhead.
That was a good leap. Rarely do you
straight up.
Yeah, that rarely have forwards that can have a free jump at it. But on this occasion, Jared Roughhead didn't have the body contact of his opponent. Just good jump on the back of Leuenberger, who's about 6'9".
In the end, a good spoil from Merritt to get a fist on the ball.
Gee, Robin's never been a scene stealer against Batman, but that time almost.
Thanks, Luke.
Luke Power's got the kick in duties here. You know it's not going to go far with Luke. Doesn't kick it a long way, but rarely misses his target.
And that's the standard kicking distiller they've been allowing, that kick into the pocket, Hawthorn. I haven't minded that kick.
Well, it limits the options for the Brisbane Lions on their next kick.
Power, who did the kick in, forced to go for the next kick. Big hip and shoulder. Brennan went down, Young collected the ball and then was in turn collected. Oh, Selwood's been dumped by Rioli. Good tackle too. Notting loops it over the top. Another dumping at the hands of Mitchell Riscatelli that time.
Great
and
intensity.
Brennan drags him down.
Boy, this is
Tim
a contest.
Clark.
This is a contest.
It's a finals-like game. Finals-like atmosphere. And in essence, the Hawks want what the Brisbane Lions have had, and that is an era where they've dominated the game. Clark, good tackle. Riscatelli drags him down.
Lee Matthews just would be wrapped the focus on chasing and tackling defensive pressures all week. And the likes of Riscatelli McGrath, Corrie, so many players chasing and laying effective tackles.
Riscatelli back to Merritt. Made it tough for him. Franklin corrals him, but he comes to Patfull. But Selwood short, doesn't want to go there, comes inboard. Stiller seems to be their go-to man at the moment. Merritt, Rioli runs him down. Maybe a turnover. Hodge, slap to Roughhead. Hand to Sewell. Caught. Hodge. Roughhead. Osborne out wide. Rioli inboard if he wants him. Franklin instead. Got a hand on it.
Yeah, it had to be a free kick. He wasn't watching the footy, Daniel Merritt. He got caught running back towards goal to chase Franklin, and when the kick was actually a bit of a floater off the boot, you could just see he's got both arms wrapped around him. It was always going to be a free kick, that one.
The man that he's had the most trouble with, Daniel Merritt. Only had 38 goals kicked on him in 22 games last year, Daniel Merritt, but 4 of them were in 20 minutes from Lance Franklin. And Lance Franklin drives it home for his 5th. Hawks back in front.
Keeping pace well, Bradshaw and Franklin, Lynchy. 5 apiece.
Yep, and fair to say the Hawks needed that. It was good work from the Lions over the last 10 minutes of football, and that is a very handy goal to this superstar in Buddy Franklin. As you called it right, Jace, just the arms wrapped around, wasn't watching the ball, and always going to give a free kick. It's a very ugly situation to be in when the ball's coming in quick and you're one out with a gun forward. Not a comfortable spot.
We're about to tick into time on, 3rd term. Lance Franklin has 5 goals for. His best ever 9 against Essendon at the MCG last year. And the ball up. Adcock through traffic, caught by Sewell, dispossessed. Riscatelli gets it from Copeland, gives it up to Leuenberger, who gives it up to Young. Hawks on the move. Shane Crawford, leading possession getter on the ground to Franklin. Hodge gets away from Selwood, toes it off the deck, but it's wide. Good pressure from Selwood. Only a behind, and only just a behind. 91 plays 86. And again, Daniel Merritt's going to be entrusted with the kick in.
Go on there, Jarrett. Thank you.
And again, they're allowing the kick to the pocket.
12 seconds, mate.
So that's where he goes, and this time it's to Selwood.
Thanks, Lloyd. Terrific.
Standard fair.
Play on. Thanks, Troy.
McDonald.
They've been able to switch the ball across, but there's just not the options up the corridor. So once again, they have to go very wide.
Patfull. Couldn't have got much wider. That was on the line as he marked it.
And the Hawks have held their zone here and just pulled it out with Joel Patfull. So in effect, he's kicked into a defensive zone again.
Jonathan Brown with 3 to beat. Got a hand on it, but not the second time. Campbell knocks it down. Notting. Ball thumped out. Ball in.
And he's been thereabouts, Campbell, every time Brown goes for the ball. Still Jonathan Brown struggling just to get his hand on a bit of the ball in this 3rd term.
2 kicks, 6 hand passes for Jonathan Brown.
Sharman v Campbell. Ball thumped down in the Stiller direction. Sherman couldn't break free with it. Riscatelli tries. Can't thread the handball through. Under siege. Williams had him wrapped up.
There are going to be some sore players tomorrow because some of these packs where players have been belting in trying to get the ball out, body on body, it is going to take its toll.
And those 2 players there, Sewell and Black, they've been on the bottom of pretty well every pack that's been going around.
Taylor to Lewis to Sewell to Mitchell. Backtracks, maybe a turnover. Adcock, good bump chance, Bateman. Took him out and took him on. Ellis, now Lewis. Bateman peels off. He's there if he wants him, and he hits him. He's got Young out wide. It's all about the kick, as it always is for Young. Centering kick for the pocket. Roughhead's down there over the head. Selwood. Merritt. Tough ball. Thumps it towards Johnston. Stolen back by Roughhead. Couple of pass options. Sewell, one of them, hits him from 50. Loads up. Big, long, and beautiful.
Once again, fantastic response by the Hawks. They are a quality side. They're undefeated in this competition for a fair reason. They hang in there, and the Lions have thrown everything at them in this early part of the 3rd term. But once again, they've had the pressure and the tackling ability to once again get multiple shots on goal, and this time was Sewell popped up. Good conversion from 50 metres. He's kicked his first goal. 20 possessions for Sewell.
20 possessions and a goal. Brad Sewell wasn't named by Jonathan Brown and the Victorian selectors in the Victorian team for the Dream Team game. Yes, Jonathan Brown is one of the selectors.
Brownie might get him in after this. He's been very good tonight.
Oh, he's letting him know. From the ball up. Magnificent game to watch. Sewell again. Dumps it long. One-on-one. Franklin, hand on it. Patfull. Handball out to Stiller.
He's been good, Patfull, since he's made the move go back there.
Thumps it wide to Corrie.
And Trent Probes back on to replace Campbell on Jonathan Brown.
Brennan.
Now this is where they've been very good. Just breaking down the zone of Hawthorn, finding targets.
Jamie Charman flies. Campbell's fist wins out. Thumps it across the line. We'll get a ball in.
He didn't like not getting the mark, Jamie Charman. He bumped a couple of Hawthorn players around him. Just loves the body on body, doesn't he?
That was good work from Campbell. He's been on Jonathan Brown's, gone into the ruck and had to run very hard to get to that contest with Charman, and a good spoil.
Campbell and Charman. Campbell down to Osborne, who seemed to have an arm around his ear. No free. Umpire says he didn't see it. High umpire Luke Farmer.
Luke Powers drifted out of the game a little since quarter time. He had 10 possessions in the first quarter. He's had just 6 since in almost 2 quarters.
Ruckman tie up. Notting tried to get a possession. Charman hands it out to Johnston. Sherman. Corrie half held by Osborne. Umpire saw that.
He played it well, Corrie. He made sure the umpire could see it.
5 metres, please.
He needs to finish off now that he's got the kick.
I've liked his game. He's only had the 10 possessions, but 4 inside 50s.
Been around a while. It was emergency for the Brisbane Lions 2003 grand final team. Missed out on that premiership.
Thank you.
Kicked 3 goals so far this season. 3 goals too. In this game number 38 for Anthony Corrie. Stutter start. Sends it high. And sends it through.
I don't know how you pick a winner from this contest, Lynchy. Honestly, it has been to and fro all night. Whenever one team gets a couple, the other team's been quick to bounce back. The hand pass from Travis Johnson found Sherman. It just locked the left arm. Osborne locked the left arm of Corrie, and he was sensible. He made sure the umpire could see it. He threw his arms out to say, I'm not being given a fair run at the footy, and that's a free kick every time.
Young enthusiasm of a player without a premiership to his name so far in his career. And Anthony Corrie's first of the night.
His career looked like it was coming to an end towards the end of last year, and I think it was the last game of the year he came on and was outstanding and got himself another go on the Lions list, and has been a valuable player and will be, I think, for another few years.
Yeah, was demoted to the rookie list last year. 5 minutes to three-quarter time, 97 to 92. Get another ball up in the middle. 26 minutes gone, third term. They've been long quarters. Both teams have kicked 14 goals so far tonight from the ball up. Johnston knocked it to McDonald. Here's Corrie again. Now Sherman from 50. Tries to thread the handball through. Got his own work back. Sends it long. Goal square. Touched on the line. Through for a behind. Threatening to take the lead back, the Brisbane Lions. Kick in wide. Brent Guerra. Chance for everyone to have a breath. Dangerous ball. Sewell tries to knock it down, but stolen by Johnston. Handball missed Luke Power, made it tough. Ball out.
It was a dangerous ball, but in effect, when he kicked it, it was straight to Sewell on his own, but Riscatelli just come off the bench and ran straight to the contest.
Exactly.
Charman and Campbell. Luke Brennan. Black. Ladson. Rioli. Mitchell. Bit too slick for Bateman. Power.
This is where they've been good on the rebound, Brisbane.
Hooper. We know how quick he is. Sends it wide, and Travis Johnston. Body on the line. Commitment. Takes the mark.
Short hand pass from Mitchell, just too slick, hit Bateman in the head. That caused the turnover, and Brisbane have been very good at exploiting Hawthorn on the rebound. They've managed to get players pushing hard into space, running forward of the football. Travis Johnson here. Another important kick for goal to give Brisbane Lions the lead once again.
That's what he has ahead of him. Swinging ball, it's drifting across the face. Can't give them the lead. With 3 minutes 30 left on the clock. It's a three-quarter time.
He's enjoying his time in Brisbane already. Hasn't been up here that long, but was traded from the club that he played an enormous amount of football with. Would have been disappointed to have that tossed up, but he's settled up here and very much enjoying it, and very much a part of this Brisbane Lions team that are pushing for a top 8 spot at the end of the year.
Well, he doesn't regret leaving Melbourne.
I think now he's pretty happy with it. I think he was pretty disappointed at the time to say we're going to move you on, but a month down the track in the season, he's wrapped.
Who's he what? Power inside 50. Speaking of wrap, Jamie Charman wrapped. That pass was perfect. And we talked about his set shot record earlier, Jamie Charman. He is better than 80% from set shots. He's kicked 25 goals, 6 in the last couple of years.
And you know
these kind of kicks.
You know when you're having a quiet day, when Jonathan Brown was just about to swallow that one.
Ruckman chips in front of you.
The Ruckman cut you off.
He better go and kick it now, because it was the kick was to the Brown lead.
Crowd hushed. I know the importance of this. And it's a horror kick. Doesn't scrape in for a score.
We needed a shot probably more on Jonathan Brown then, just to see whether there was a glare across Chris Johnson. A great back pocket for the Brisbane Lions. Just come out to have a chat with Jamie Charman. Probably talking about a rotation that may be coming up.
Gillum.
Run, 2 metres, run! Higher.
It's the old 1-2. That's into Crode. You see Trent Crode back. First game back since that dislocated wrist. And now Clinton Young. Chance Bateman. Had to go.
That's Joel!
Joel McDonald called back on the mark. Well played, Tim Clark. Caught by Hooper as he kicked, but it might be okay. Lewis plays for the free, doesn't get it. Jared Brennan. Luke Power. Dangerous kick, Jed Adcock. Joel McDonald out wide and he hits him. They're away here. They've got the loose man, Notting.
Now Brown's loose.
Notting corralled nicely.
Well, Brown's got the Guerra matchup.
Hand over to Adcock. He can go the journey or poke to the pocket. Sherman.
The only downside to the way they worked it forward was that it's a poor angle. You've still got Jonathan Brown calling for the ball in the pocket.
Justin Sherman. Mentioned just 14 games last year. Dropped 3 times last year. In and out of this Brisbane Lions team. Trying to find his confidence again. This kick to give the Lions the lead. His confidence still not there. They're behind. Had their chances.
Thanks, Daniel. You're fine there, mate.
It's a good role for him. Chance Bateman as a starting point. And just work hard off him, get taken to the board. It looks like Shane Crawford he's on now.
Guerra straight down the middle to Hodge. Tough ball, but he made the commitment, as did Stiller. Adcock thumps it out. Tim Clark, where Angels fear to tread. Wrapped up, high, but he contributed to the high tackle, pull up.
He dived on the ball, Clark, but he was smart enough then to stand up, which makes it very difficult for the umpire then to pay holding the ball.
50 seconds and counting to three-quarter time. Brennan, third man up, but thumps it down to Mitchell. Open forward line for the Hawks. Bouncing ball and Merritt beats Roughhead to it. Maybe the Lions still a chance to take the lead. Long kick. McGrath from 3 deep. Thumps it down. Birchall gets the handle to Campbell Brown. High bomb. Jordan Lewis on the boundary line. Take your pick. It bounces. Jordan Lewis keeps it in. And then knocks it out, which won't be called deliberate.
No way. He was trying to knock it to Bateman down the line.
No way. That's not a good decision. That's fair to say.
He made it from a long way away, the umpire, in his defence.
That's indefensible. Stiller kicks long. Jonathan Brown and the footy gods are here. Trent Crode takes a solid mark.
Jonathan Brown just tried to push back. The kick was too long. Tried to push back, find the body of Trent Crode, but just didn't get contact and fell over in the end.
Good fist, ball out of play, and you wouldn't think time enough for a clearance for either side here.
You got to know, though, what he was trying to do. Obviously, Bateman wasn't too far away.
Three-quarter time here at the Gabba in one of the games of the year. The undefeated Hawks, who haven't won here since round 18 2000, up against the back-in-form Locals. And it's a 2-point ball game. The Hawks lead 14-13-97 to 14-11-95.
I like guys who have a little bit fat, a little bit hairy back. I like guys who watch a lot of football and go out with the boys. This is good thing. If I don't get flowers, I'm not like, oh, put me, I don't get flowers. This is so silly. I know they sometimes go to the striptease, but it's okay. I'm not jealous. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, I don't care.
The girlfriend. Jim Beam. The bourbon. What do men have on their mind?
I've got a lot of things. I've got passions. I've got many characters. And I've got fans. But I've never got dandruff, because I use Head & Shoulders. What do you have on your mind?
What do you have on your mind? Head & Shoulders clean and balanced. Everything but dandruff.
This Mother's Day at iSubscribe, you can pick more than your favourite magazine. You can pick a great deal with up to 38% off InStyle magazine, 28% off Australian Home Beautiful, 18% off Delicious, and 20% off Donna Hay. So now you can afford to turn Mother's Day into Mother's Year with a subscription from isubscribe.com.au.
Ford Ranger from $20,990 including air. It's legendary tough.
We've got a huge range of sensor lights.
So if you're coming home at night and it's pitch dark,
trying to get the key in the door,
sensor lights will light the path for you all the way to the front safely.
Security sensor light, $25.98. Abbey skylight, $97. Folding trunk trolley, $99. Outdoor bistro blinds, $88 per blind. Energy saving globe, $7.98.
And it's always a good security measure to have sensor lights installed.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Sunday AFL on Fox Sports. The Blues have finally found the winning formula, but will it work against the desperate D's? 1 o'clock live from the G. Then at 4, live and active. Last time it was a 3-point heartbreaker in the finals. Can the Eagles now exact their revenge? Or will they face a power surge at Subiaco? Sunday AFL, Melbourne take on Carlton at 1, followed by West Coast Port Adelaide at 4. All live on Fox Sports 1.
Team's proud. We're actually 100% Kiwi boys.
Some of these boys are 109, 110 kilo.
But it'll be like the NRL.
Mate, a lot of testosterone. It starts right here.
Step up, Toyota Cup, exclusive to Fox Sports.
You wanted it, you got it. A high-scoring thriller between two of the best teams in the competition. The undefeated Hawks by 2 points at three-quarter time, 14-13-97 to the Brisbane Lions, 14-11-95. 95. Brisbane Lions led by 4 points at quarter time. The Hawks by 8 at half time. That lead cut back to 2 in a seesawing contest. Bradshaw, 5 goals for the Lions to three-quarter time. And Lance Franklin up the other end, 5 goals as well. Big last term coming up. Rowan Smith is down on the boundary line and is with Adrian Fletcher.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Well, Adrian, it's been a tight contest.
Yeah, look, it's been a fantastic all contest all night. Lewis, Hodge, Black, Power. What it's going to come down to is who's going to win the hard ball, and those fast plays from the stoppages. We're going to make sure that we get enough of those, and we haven't played a 4 quarters for the season, so this is our chance to really have a 4-quarter effort this season.
And what about the defensive pressure that you've laid tonight? That's been a massive influence on the game, hasn't it?
Oh, no doubt. We made sure that it was man-on-man around the stoppages, even in our own forward line. We're going to make that a contest because they want to get fast plays through handballs. We're going to make sure we turn the ball over in our forward line and don't allow that to get to Franklin.
Well, good luck in the last quarter.
Have a good one.
Makes a lot of sense, Adrian Fletcher. Talking about the contested footy, they've got their nose in front, Lynch. It's hard to pick a winner in this contest at the moment. Who out of the midfield is going to take control and get a good supply of ball forward? You look at some players that can lift for both sides. Jonathan Brown's been quiet, just the 2 kicks, hasn't scored on the scoreboard. Tim Notting's been pretty quiet. Travis Johnson had a few important touches in the 3rd term, but only the 11. For Hawthorn, Roughhead kicked an early goal, has gone very quiet. Hodges only had the 11. Bateman's only had the 11 down on their input. It's which of those players can lift and actually add something to the contest to get their team over the line.
And that is going to be the telling factor for this last quarter. Both teams have got great runners through the midfield. As we look at the Hawthorn midfield there, some class there if they can stand up. But Brisbane Lions, as Adrian Fletcher touched on, they've gone one-on-one around the contest and pushed big numbers to the contest, so it is very difficult. We saw Jared Brennan in that 3rd quarter jumping 3rd up to get some clearance from the ruck contest, and I think the Hawthorn really need to do the same sort of thing. Get it out in space, get the run that they're so good at, and get the ball to Lance Franklin to give them a chance to win this game.
The undefeated top of the ladder Hawks by 2 points to start this final term at the Gabba. And the ball up, Simon Black, who instigated the comeback last week. Handball out, misses the target. Ladson, Trent Crode. Through traffic, Rioli. Tries to thread the handball through Crawford. Deft deflection to Campbell. Now Birchall, traps to Hodge. Sewell, he's released in space. Needs to hit a target, bangs it long. Franklin! In the tough pocket for a left footer.
Got the big paws into the side and the chest of his opponent there. It was a good long ball and he was in the back position and he just protected the drop zone beautifully here.
Hand on the back.
Just having a look at the contest, because Patfield turned around to face Franklin, he made it easy for him to push him in the side and in the front, not quite in the middle of the back.
Lance Franklin has 5. To stretch the margin, bit of bend on the kick, not enough. Behind.
Could also come down if it's this sort of contest right to the final siren. Who makes the most of the opportunities? Who's good enough to kick a couple from tight angles like that?
Lance Franklin has 5 goals, 5. Kick in. Okay, and again they concede the kick to the pocket. Been allowing that all night. This time it's Patfull. Sends it long. Hodge back of the pack to Ladson. Central kick, Campbell.
Tim, leader. Thank you.
Notting called back. Wide ball again. Birchall.
Just need some very good passing to hit a target here. Numbers all over the place for the Lions in the defensive half.
Thumps it long again. Rough head, got hands on it. Lance Franklin from the pocket. He had a sighter from there moments ago. It's a freak show. He's got 6.
Well, Jace, he couldn't kick the one from the set shot from the same position, but as we know, we see so often that this guy has just got that much ability, that freakish ability that you just can't measure. Got the crumbing ball at 6'6", if you don't mind, and just around the corner, bounced it through the goals, and that's exactly what each team needs if they're going to jump out of the pack here and win this contest. It's very tight all over the field. No one's getting any easy shots in front of goal. Just got to capitalise on those chances.
You really have no right to kick it from that angle. Seriously, I mean, That's just extraordinary. We're seeing some rare talent on display, not just from Franklin, but at both ends, and some fantastic contests all over the ground.
104 to 95 from the ball up. Jarman. Simon Black went down, no free. Chance Bateman dumped, no free. Tim Clark told to get it out again, picks it up whilst he's on the ground, gets up. Here's Lance Franklin's goal again.
You're not entitled to kick it from this angle. Off one step, he's a metre inside the boundary. And knew it straight off the boot.
From the ball up, Ladson, where is he? Here he is!
Well, you can't do much about a kick like that from Ladson. There's not a fullback in the game that can stop that one, Lynchy.
No, that was fantastic pass and just his acceleration. Patford was there, but what can you do? This man runs very well over 40 metres. He runs pretty well over 3 Ks as well, but he's a great talent. Kicks this one, will put pressure on the Lions early in the 4th term.
He's on 100-goal pace, all right. He has 7 for the night, 28 for the year.
It's an interesting discussion point, Lynchy, because there's been talk about the 100-goal full forwards, a thing of the past. The game doesn't allow it now, but Franklin doesn't play as a true full forward. He spends time coming out of the square. He spends time up at half forward. He pushes up the ground. He pushes back deep. But as Dwayne said, he is on pace. Do you think he's capable?
Well, certainly capable.
100.
He's a very good player. He can kick 100.
He comes from a very talented family. His father played hockey for Western Australia. His mum, very good netballer. One of his sisters, one of his 4 sisters, played netball for Australia. 7 goals. Lance Franklin's freak show continues.
He's got 7 goals, 5 too, Dwayne.
Yeah.
So he's had a few shots at goal, the boy.
Crawford slips it out to Sewell. Those 2 boys going well as well. Bateman gets it from Mitchell, hands it to Ladson. Over the top to Sewell. Roughhead, where is he? Williams, the man, the go-to this time. And unbelievable Mark Williams.
He took a screamer early on in the game up on the wing, and this one he was calling it long, and it wasn't the kick he was looking for, but he took off after it. He twisted in midair and somehow came down with it.
It's a great grab. The Hawks have found some space in the early part of this 4th term. The first time for quite a while they've been able to find that space and capitalise on every chance.
Where did that mark come from?
First time the lead's been beyond 20 points for the night.
Well, take me through it, please, Lynch.
Oh, I don't know.
He's just gone up and somehow twisted, and how he hung onto the ball, I'll never know.
He did. He ran an enormous distance to get to the top of the goal square, and he has just drove the knee right into the back of his opponent in Colin Begley. And that's an unorthodox grab.
Twisted and it came down over the shoulder.
But the Chief's got his Hawthorn scarf back out again. They're on fire.
Oh, that's exciting.
One of the marks of the year for Mark Williams. 2 goals for his evening.
Time for Brisbane to answer. They've been good all night. Whenever the Hawks have kicked a couple, they've bounced straight back. Look for a Simon Black clearance in the middle of the ground.
Well, as you'd expect, big Jonathan Brown's gone into the midfield. I think he will be certainly around where this ball lands.
21 points to margin. Biggest margin of the game. Handy time to have it. Hodge. Handball misses. Hits Selwood. Black to Sherman. The leads come. Someone needs to inspire them at home. He heads wide. Bradshaw. He's had a big night at one end. 5 goals so far for Daniel Bradshaw. Could he be the man?
He's been in good touch tonight.
This will take a special kick too.
Reasonable angle here. This is his natural.
Can he get it to go left or right?
Well, that's the way he naturally kicks, but this is very tight. His natural drop punt will turn left to right.
The way the game's gone tonight, he just about kicks this, doesn't he?
He probably does.
From outside the boundary line, he bends it, but not enough. Jared Brennan flew, couldn't touch it. Behind to Daniel Bradshaw.
And there just wasn't a lot of movement for him to find a target. The team rule for the Brisbane Lions for a number of years was to not shoot ever from the boundary line. It was always to chip it inside and risk the turnover.
How's that for a pass?
Had to be good.
So Mitchell gets it after Guerra and Shane Crawford kept possession, wouldn't turn it over. Mitchell's got Campbell Brown, needs to be precise with the kick. Hunting him down, Daniel Bradshaw. Campbell Brown marks.
Disposals 26-6 in this quarter in favour of Hawthorn. So Brisbane just haven't been able to get their hands on the footy.
Birchall from Ladson's handball. Bateman, Merritt's fist wins.
And that's a concern, as Adrian Fletcher said at three-quarter time. The Lions haven't been able to put together a four-quarter effort this season.
But they must have confidence from last week, because they ran over the top of the side last week in the last quarter, and they were brilliant in the fourth quarter, Brisbane.
Came from 47 points down last week, the Brisbane Lions. Riscatelli gets it from Simon Black. Leuenberger can't trap it. Shane Crawford can to Lewis. Tries to thread the eye of a needle. Corrie can't break free. Simon Black again to McDonald. Stolen by Taylor. Hammer to Sewell. Hammer to Crawford. To Mitchell. Long kick. Franklin again. Drops this one. Knocks it to Merritt's advantage. And they're away. Merritt to McDonald. So Copeland inboard, knows it.
Can't get it
back to Merritt. Copeland still peeling off in his direction now, but he'll have to motor.
Ball kick.
Campbell Brown comes with him. Tries to keep it alive. Brown a little nudge. He gathers. Hawks on the rebound. Guerra on the wing alone.
Oh, they're open here.
Gillum. Rough head. Little fumble. Danger. Taylor made it okay. He holds it up. 20 points the margin.
Oh, that's a shank.
But it comes off. Corrie gets
that's
Ellis.
50. Oh, I thought he might have given away 50 there. That's lucky.
Very close to a 50-metre penalty, but luckily for the Lions, it wasn't.
Some players it would have been 50. Long kick again. Franklin tries to reach from behind. Young, half tackled, dispossessed, dropped it. Crab on ball, don't get it.
They've put the whistle away for dropping the ball.
Travis Johnston. Yes, they give you the benefit of saying it was knocked free in the tackle when it's simply dropped by many players. McGrath, Hooper, he can run, he's slick. Bradshaw!
That was good work from Bradshaw. It was certainly good work from the Lions coming out of defence through the midfield, but Bradshaw led very hard back to the goal square and doubled back, and it was a fantastic pass put out in front of him. In the end, he had a lot of space to run onto the ball.
For goal number 6, Daniel Bradshaw keeps the Lions alive.
Well, you'd be genuinely surprised if Brisbane didn't come back and threaten to win this game, because it's been that sort of contest, seesawing to and from. A late tackle there, not enough to stop Black getting the kick. Guerra missed it. That allowed McGrath to find Hooper, and he just chipped into space. Bradshaw's beaten them all, whether it's been Brown, whether it's been Crode, who's on him now. He's got his pace back after the knee injury. He's got beautiful hands, a big, strong body, and he could be the match winner for Brisbane.
If you've just joined us, Bradshaw has 6 at one end. Lance Franklin has 7 at the other.
And so much is the threat of Bradshaw that Trent Crode's playing on him, and Steve Gillum is playing on Jonathan Brown. Now, Crode's the premier defender and Brown's the premier forward, but it hasn't been the case tonight.
Played 11 minutes, final term, 12:34, and time on remaining. And the ball up, Jarman knocked it down, but to Clark. Tries a tricky handball, missed the target. Johnston to Corrie. Bouncing ball eludes Jonathan Brown. It's been that kind of night for him. Campbell Brown dishes it up. Gillum bumped. McDonald to Hooper. And if it bounces into the post, which it does, that's a win for the Brisbane Lions. It stays in their area.
Once again, have a look at the numbers around this contest. There's a huge congregation of players here. Very hard to get a decent clearance.
Well, there's only 10 players not in this contest. Riscatelli kicks. Lewis had the option of taking it out. Copeland helped him. Ball in. 116 to 102. Back into play. Taylor down to Lewis to Crawford. Can drag it through, and experience.
And it's a good option. You've got the opportunity to set up. You've got possession back. you can have a set play and get out of your defensive 50 without the pressure you had just a minute beforehand.
Guerra to Campbell Brown. Sam Mitchell. Possession number 27 coming up for the captain. Gets the call to play on.
He wants a lead from centre half forward, but no one's there.
Just looking for a contest from the ruckman.
And he gets one. Brennan, third man up with the fists.
You could see the intention there from Mitchell. There was nothing on, and he kicked it high up in the air so that Taylor could get there, force a contest, and they were actually hoping to force a stoppage up on the wing.
And the ball in Brennan. Raked it in, got the handball out to Riscatelli somehow. McGrath might need to fly here. He doesn't. Stays down, and Campbell Brown takes the mark.
Not happy with the kick. Jonathan Brown coming in.
Well,
gave a filthy glare.
Whoever's playing on Jared Brennan should start to watch. For 40 minutes, he's been jumping third up.
Lewis, Ellis, Young, Franklin. Hands strong as ever, and Lance Franklin can line up for number 8.
Where is the mark? It's right on the 50-metre line.
That's just a
that puts him in
regulation.
range.
Great grab, wasn't it? Going to ground under enormous amount of pressure.
That was terrific hands, wasn't it? And great pressure. I mean, Patfull can't do any more than that. He's right there on his hammer.
He hasn't been too bad, Patfull, but now this man, this is probably not what you call the easiest shot, so he'd kick this.
He's already kicked more than he's ever kicked before at the Gabba. He's already kicked more than he's ever kicked against the Lions. He drifts that back. That brings tears to your eyes. He has 8.
Doesn't that lead your club to great victories when it's been a tough tussle, and this game is far from over, but you've got your gun full forward kicking great goals. The ball was just run, as it's happened so much in this fourth quarter for Hawthorn, out of defence, being able to hit targets. Wasn't a great pass, but it was out in front. Your gun forward ran onto it. Great pressure from Patfull. Good spoil. Didn't work.
2 goals in the opening term, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the crucial final term.
Bit of talk going on between these two, Dwayne. I wonder who's telling who what.
Oh, you can
From the ball up.
Unrealistic. Your kick, Joey, unrealistic against you. Up and down.
Unrealistic jump by...
I've never heard a free kick for an unrealistic jump.
Robert Campbell.
Unrealistic high jump.
It's in the book somewhere, but I haven't seen it. Bradshaw can't take possession. Lewis can't break free. He's got it. He's had it a long time. He's gone.
Well, Lewis will get up thinking he had his head ripped off.
He did cop one a little high there, but once that was overlooked, he was in strife. That's what they just heard from the umpire. They just hang their hat on. You've got to make some sort of attempt.
And look who's got the ball.
Players are so good these days at holding the ball under their opponent.
Franklin has 8 at one end. Daniel Bradshaw kicking for his 7th. And he misses.
6-4 for Daniel Bradshaw. So the two superstars at either end have had plenty of shots on goal.
Still hear a conversation going on between one of the umpires and Robbie Campbell. He said it was unrealistic, the jump in the middle of the ground.
Hold there, Simon. Mark's there.
Birchall gets it from Ladson. Still plenty of time for the Lions to win at home.
Hold there, Thomas.
Chance
Hold
Bateman.
there, Mark's there.
Chip kick. Ladson.
Once again, the Lions have held their zone.
Well, this is the jump in the middle of the ground. He said it was unrealistic. It didn't stop Charman winning the tap out. So I can understand why he's concerned or confused by the decision, Campbell. It's an interesting decision.
Sam Mitchell, good spoil Adcock. It was legal. Travis Johnston, now they're on the rebound. Power to his own advantage. Gets around Gillum. Pokes the pass, hoping for Bradshaw. Beaten for it. Well played. Little handball out from Campbell Brown after the knockdown. Ball still there. Gathers. Can't get the kick away. Danger. Osmond dragged down. Simon Black misses.
He rarely makes a mistake, Simon Black.
Gee, Osborne handed it to him on a plate, and I don't know what happened. He hit the wrong side of the ball. Missed everything.
The Hawks had to get it through for a point.
Lions have the numbers and nothing. Good grab.
You can't shepherd a man on the mark. That'll have to come back. He won't reverse it, but you cannot shepherd the man standing on the mark. That's a pull-up. It just means He's got to come back behind the mark and do it all over again.
And just allows the Hawks to get all their players in the defensive 50. And it'll be very hard for Tim Notting. He kicks it a long way. May go to the top of the goal square.
16 players inside defensive 50 for the Hawks. Bradshaw dumped back of the pack. Behind.
Still plenty of time, 8 minutes left. Brisbane can kick a host of goals in that time.
Rough head. Chance Bateman might need to fly. Here he does. Makes the commitment, gets the free.
That was fantastic run from Bateman. Started on the other side of the ground.
Takes on Riscatelli. Young looks up. He's got Franklin. He flies. Can't mark. Back of the pack. Lewis can't crumb and kick.
Oh, just fumbled at the critical time. Jordan Lewis would have run into an open goal. The big fly from Franklin didn't bring it down. There's pressure at both ends.
It's been an intoxicating game. The drunk on goals. 18 plays 15 goal-wise. 123 to 105.
They need to switch it up, Brisbane. They've got numbers on the other side of the ground, not out this side.
It was a big zone from Hawthorn out this side. Need to chip it across.
Sherman to Begley.
Got Brown, but he's basically going to be 1-on-2 for a long kick. Be a big ask for even Jonathan Brown to mark that one.
Power. Hunted down by Crawford. Jared Brennan. Long kick, Jonathan Brown. And that's been his kind of night, a little fumble, but he took the mark. Notting runs through traffic. Gets the kick away. Inside 50, Leuenberger can't reach. About to pounce though, back onto it. Needs to get away. Hands to Riscatelli. They're still in this, the Lions. Riscatelli, goal square. Bradshaw can't take the mark. Half held. McGrath dumped. Goal. Travis Johnston. Unbelievable game this has been.
This has been quite extraordinary. The pressure on Leuenberger, but he did well to get the hands free. And the tackle was around the waist. That was all he could do. Riscatelli chipped it back into the middle. Nearly took a scream at Daniel Bradshaw with the one hand. And I thought McGrath was going to be locked up, but somehow he got the ball out between the two tackles and set up a goal for Travis Johnston.
Second goal for Travis Johnston. It's a 2-goal game.
Fantastic contest. Hawks came out of the gates flying at three-quarter time. The Lions have bounced back.
Hodge kick smothered. Sewell tries to thread the handball out. Bateman dumped illegally. Chance Bateman's free. Plays on long. Franklin's a go-to man. Can't mark it. Off hands, rough head. Gang tackled. No prior opportunity, ball up.
I thought Roughhead actually took him on and tried to break through the tackle. He might have been a little bit lucky there. Another high fly from Franklin, didn't hang on to it.
Leuenberger slaps it down. Lewis threads it out to Rioli. Centering kick. It's all about the bounce here. Bounces kindly for Notting. Riscatelli. Calm. Bad to get caught. Brennan.
Some tired players out there.
Hooper. Knocked away from him. Ellis. Campbell. Brown. Chip kick. Hodge. Takes the mark.
The one-on-one situations that the Lions were able to implement around the ground have certainly broken down now.
Oh, he's kicked a
torpedo inside 50. Well, if anyone can mark it, it's Franklin. He can't this time either. Power to Corrie. Away down the open side. He has Travis Johnston. Pass is perfect. Johnston plays onto Hooper. Has to stand and wait. Simon Black. Bradshaw's on the move. So too Jonathan Brown. Ball thumped away from Brown. Gathers his own crumb. Shrugs the tackle. Kicks. And misses.
Pure strength from Jonathan Brown there.
He does that so often, but on his day, he kicks those goals just not going his way, but with about 10 minutes to go in this game, he could still have an influence.
2 straight kicks unanswered, and they have the lead, the Brisbane Lions. An 11-point margin. Luke Hodge.
Too early to be running the clock down. They need to kick another goal, Hawthorn, at least.
Sewell just inside the line.
It's another facet of the game. The Lions have been much better. Their defensive zone for kick-outs. Hawks have really struggled to get the ball out cleanly with any sort of pace.
It's the play on call. Hodge. Gillum to the open side.
Well, it's worked beautifully for Brisbane because Copeland's just come off the bench and he cuts off the holes on that open side.
Xavier Ellis maybe with the kick, turns it over. He does. It was a 2-on-1. Lewis couldn't mark. He turns it over. Crawford. 4 minutes and counting. 123 to 112. Short to Mitchell. Big high kick and hope. Franklin can't get a fly at it. Couple to beat. Roughhead through traffic. Mark Williams caught. Jared Brennan with that Brennan-esque pickup.
There's nowhere to go.
Oh, tricked himself. Still got it. Got it, sort of, still. Bateman caught by Stiller. Brennan's got him. Stiller.
Oh, how tired are they?
They're spent, but it's been that kind of game. Black to Power. The usual suspects. Hooper, he can send it in the Bradshaw direction. Sidesteps a couple. Bradshaw, one-on-one. Gets there. Crowe with the fist. Knocked it down.
Johnson.
Travis Johnston again. Misses again. And it's cut off. Shane Crawford getting back in defence. Lends a hand. Hits Mitchell. 3 minutes and counting. Mitchell about to get run down. Got the handball up. Turnover. Hooper. Simon Black. Travis Johnston's inside 50. Needs to get it up to him. Caught a little high. No free. They are spent, these players. They're running on empty. And it's out of play.
I think the bodies are getting tired. Also, the minds are getting tired. Sam Mitchell's had a bounce right in front of a Brisbane bloke about to tackle him.
From the ball in. They're on the smell of the rag at the moment. Travis Johnston lays the tackle. We'll get another ball up.
I think they'll need a goal from this forward 50 entry. The bodies are very tired, all concerned. But the pressure's on the Lions now. They're 2 goals down.
Taylor and Leuenberger tie up. Ball knocked down to Campbell Brown. Threads it through to Ladson, to Crawford, who's been inspirational. Kick might find the boundary line. It's rolling. It's there.
That's a great kick. Outside the foot. There was congestion up the field. Had to go wide. It's a smart play from Shane Crawford.
Lions need 2 goals unanswered. Adcock. Kick half smothered. Sewell cuts it off. Dangerous but okay. Williams, Birchall, Hodge for the knockout blow. Just needs to go the journey. Here's a long launch of the ball. He sends it. This game has been as good as it gets. The Hawks are home.
And Hodge popped up for his first goal of the day. Had a very quiet first quarter. No possessions, but has racked up 18 touches now. Kicked a 1-goal one. And just when he was needed to ice the game, found some space through the corridor and broke towards centre half forward and kicked a very nice long goal. You would think that'll be enough. 2 minutes out. 17 points to the Hawks.
Just his first goal of the night for Luke Hodge. Just his 3rd goal of the season. And the Hawks will remain undefeated, you would think.
Yeah, I'm glad you're confident, Dwayne. The way this game's gone, I'd expect Brisbane to kick a very quick one.
Corey slips it out to Adcock. Over the top to Sherman.
There it is.
Another twist in the tail, perhaps. Bradshaw's marked.
He won't relax. Will Jason Dunstall sitting in the commentary box, very jittery.
And he's got 6, deserves another. I mean, it's been a fantastic game from Daniel Bradshaw. This isn't a bad pocket for him. He gets that little left to right fade happening.
His hands have been clean tonight.
Chews up the seconds. Beautiful. Swings it back. Awesome. He's got 7. Don't go to bed just yet.
And how many people I spoke to last week that turned the TV off at 3/4 time and didn't watch the last quarter of the Brisbane Lions clash only to hear that they won. Maybe 2 minutes out. If they'd walked out and flicked her off, it was a little bit early. Bradshaw, great lead on the end of some fine work from Sherman. who's racked up 17 touches himself. That's a great effort. 7 goals, 4, 11 scoring shots. Franklin, 13 scoring shots.
7 goals for Daniel Bradshaw. They need 2 goals in 83 seconds.
Need a centre clearance. That's the key.
Almost silence here at the Gabba. Campbell down to Mitchell. Franklin one-on-one. Patfull front spot.
Very important by Patfull.
That was gold, that mark. Wide, Neuenberger. Held up.
They've got numbers running forward. He's got to move it on quickly.
The seconds tick. Stiller plays on quickly. Hooper dumped, dispossessed. Mitchell. Seconds continue to tick. Franklin, he can wrap it up.
Well, he'll take his time now. Don't blame Joel Patfull for that. Patfull was nowhere near him. He had beaten Franklin in a one-out contest, set up a last foray forward for Brisbane. They had to give it, they had to take risks, they had to just move it quickly. But unfortunately, the hand pass to Hooper in the middle of the ground put him under pressure. He was claimed in the tackle by Campbell. He had no chance. A bloke twice as big just threw him to the ground. And the quick turnover, Patfull can't get back in time.
To equal his best ever haul of 9 goals. That's what he has in front of him for his 9th. For the icing on the cake. And it swings. And that's as good as a goal in terms of the 4 points.
Long down the middle here. Just got to bomb it long.
It'll be a 2-goal victory. Colm Begley.
Well, they think there's more time left than there actually is.
Well, that's right. I mean, the only thing you do there is just play on. It might cost you another goal when you get hurt on the way back.
Hawks are still undefeated in 2008. And they'll be mighty hard to beat for the rest of the journey, especially with that man, Lance Franklin. One of the superstars of the competition. 8 goals tonight for Lance Franklin. A 19-goal to 17 shootout at the Gabba. The home fans will go home disappointed, but footy fans have seen a spectacle that'll be hard to match this year. Hawthorn winning 19-16-130 for the Brisbane Lions. 17-16, 118.
What a great contest. We saw everything. We saw great midfielders, saw tackling pressure throughout the ground, and some gun forwards put on a clinic at either end.
Let's go downstairs. Rowan Smith has Lance Franklin.
We'll have the man of the moment, Dwayne. Lance, you couldn't have asked for a tougher win tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We knew we were going to come up here and it was going to be a hard game with Brisbane. But look, we put the 4 quarters together. We found it hard at the start, but we worked as a team. And we did really well to get over the line tonight.
5-0 start, couldn't have asked for a better one.
Definitely. Just to get a couple of wins on the board early means a lot to us. So we've won 5 out of 5. So look, we're just happy where we're at the moment, and we've got a lot of improvement to do. But we'll just take one game at a time.
And yourself, you're kicking goals from everywhere. You're on target for 100. Is that a realistic goal for you?
Oh, mate, no, I'm not really thinking about that at all, mate. I'm just thinking about the team and all the boys, mate. And we're just flying at the moment. So
good answer. But what about the delivery as well?
The delivery by the midfielders today was just outstanding. Some of those boys with the kicking's just awesome.
Go and enjoy it.
He's got 29 goals for the season now, Lance Franklin. 29 from 5 games. He leads the race for the Coleman. Daniel Bradshaw in that race, of course. 7 goals tonight, but not enough for the Brisbane Lions.
What about some of that gold out of the cliche book, straight from Jay Dunstall?
He said all the right things.
He did. He ticked
just
all the
think
boxes.
about the team. We've just got a lot of improvement and
One
hard
week
work
at a
still to
time.
do. Look at that, Lukey Power on his 200. He's fantastic, Lukey Power. He has been a brilliant player for this club for a long time. 23 possessions tonight. He started like a house on fire, had 10 of those in the first quarter. Chaired off by a couple of his close mates, Simon Black, also Jamie Charman. Jamie Charman could probably carry him off on his own. Just let him down there. Disappointment for him that they didn't get the win, but he can hold his head high. He's been part of a fantastic contest here tonight.
Very good player, Luke Power. Yeah, he'll be shattered.
When they recruited him, his father, Kevin, was good friends with Andrew Ireland, who was the CEO of the Brisbane Lions, and he said, don't draft my boy, don't take him to Brisbane. And they drafted him, and Andrew Ireland said, I'll not just draft him, I'll look after him. And he allowed Luke Power to live with him up here in Brisbane whilst he settled in for a year or 2. And he has been a genuine gun, Luke Power. Game 200, a loss for for Luke Power tonight. But the Hawthorn Footy Club is one of the stories of the year so far. Yes, Geelong, the reigning premiers, are the best team in the comp.
Keep a lid on
Hawks.
it. Keep a lid on it, please, Dwayne.
What do you reckon, Jace? They're grand final certainties, aren't they?
Please.
From here, I mean, they're 5-0.
A lot of big challenges ahead of them, Hawthorn, and they're just meeting them nicely at the moment, but a long, long way to go. That was just a great game tonight.
It was a great contest. Two teams playing very well. The Lions will be disappointed. They worked very hard at what they focused on during the week. The contested ball, they actually won that against the Hawks. They were very good around the contests. They shut down the run-off half-back for the Hawks, which was another priority. And they found some players that were crumbing in the forward line. Great defensive pressure. Hooper, Corrie were very good. McGrath showed something. And it was a good game. But for the Lions supporters, they'll be very disappointed. The Hawks supporters, they're just very, very happy at the moment.
He's a big story at the moment, Lance Franklin, isn't he? He's taking all before him. And it's the way he goes about it. There's so much flair and excitement every time he injects himself into play. We saw him fly for a couple of big ones tonight that he didn't hold, but his ability to recover, he can kick them in general play, in broken play off the ground. He can take the big marks. You can see the skipper, Sam Mitchell, having a chat to him there. He is just a pure excitement machine.
You'd fly him home in seat 1A, wouldn't you, just to make sure he's okay?
Get his own charter flight in cotton wool, just a big cotton wool plane. Round 17 is when the Hawks will meet Geelong. An anomaly of the AFL draw means that those two teams will not meet until round 17 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. So we'll have to wait, perhaps, whether they'll be the best two teams in the comp come round 17. Only time will tell, but right now they are the teams to beat.
Their first win in 8 visits to the Gabba, so that's a monkey they'll be very happy to get off the back.
The Brisbane Lions came into this game with a 2-2 record. Chance to play their way into the top 8 with a victory tonight. They were close. And if you have just joined us, it was the Brisbane Lions by 4 points at quarter time, Hawthorn by 8 points at half time, Hawthorn again by 2 points at three-quarter time, and then 2-goal margin at the death.
They might be 2-3 Brisbane, but there's a lot to like about what they've done thus far, and let's not underestimate how tough the early draw was for them. They lost a game in Perth against West Coast. Now, West Coast aren't flying at the moment, but it's always a tough trip over there. They've beaten Collingwood, who most people tip as a top 4 side here, as we look at the Hawks celebrate with their theme song. We'll have a listen to it.
Clarkson, 8 goals to Lance Franklin, and the Hawks by 2 goals, 19-16, 130 to the Brisbane Lions, 17-16, 118. We'll be back to wrap up straight after this.